Chapter 202. Fuzhou Giant Ship 9 Bug Gang Headquarters. Gang Leader, I have turned Fuzhou upside down and haven't found those people. A hall head reported. He was really nervous and didn't know what to do. The 3-day deadline that gang leader gave was up. He said that if they couldn't find them in 3 days, they would be in trouble. Now that 3 days had passed, they really couldn't find them. It would be great if they had some clues, but unfortunately there were none. Those people seemed to have evaporated. At this moment the entire place was silent. No one dared to speak. Gang leader, who was like a meatball sitting behind the curtain, didn't make a sound at all. After a long while he opened his mouth. So you didn't find them? Gang leader, I have tried my best. I suspect that they left Fuzhou long ago. If not, they would have been able to find them. This hall head was weak in 9 Bug Gang and was ostracized. Gang leader ordered this matter so that everyone could search. Who knew that those people were so cunning and actually pushed the matter to him? In the end, he stopped this matter. If gang leader was furious, naturally, he would vent it on him. Left Fuzhou, then why are you still searching there? Didn't you listen to my words? Gang leader's voice became dark and sunken, and one could even hear him panting. The higher-ups in the cabin stood there and didn't dare to move. This was a matter between gang leader and head Xiao. They just treated it like they were watching a show. Gang leader, when I reacted, it was already too late. Leaving Fuzhou to search is like finding a needle in a haystack. Head Xiao's back was drenched in sweat. His forehead was covered in cold sweat. When he faced the gang leader, he was filled with fear. Late, is that the reason? I said that if I can't find them, I will feed you to the bugs. Now that you didn't complete it, I won't keep you alive. Gang leader's voice turned cold. Hall head Zhao's pupils constricted as he trembled in fear. Chief, this matter has nothing to do with me. They pushed the blame to me. I was alone. How could I possibly find the culprit? It's them, you can't blame me alone. Instantly, the surrounding higher-ups hollered in rage. Hall Master Xiao, how can you push the blame onto us? That's right. Back then, you were the one who wanted to personally search for it, hoping to accomplish something great. Now that you didn't accomplish it and will be punished by the gang leader, you blame this on us. Do you have any shame? Hall Master Li is right. Hall Master Xiao, you are in the wrong. Everyone targeted Hall Master Xiao and threw the blame to him. They wanted him to take the blame for them. They knew the gang master's temperament. I won't show you mercy just because you're the Hall Master. Whatever you say goes. For them. Since gang leader was such a violent person, why did he join 9 Bug Gang? Couldn't he just leave? There were many people who wanted to leave. But how many? Did he really think that the gang leader of 9 Bug Gang was a pushover, that just because he was fat he had no brains? Their lives were in the hands of the sect master. Even if they were given 10 guts, they wouldn't dare to do it. Hall Master Xiao glared at everyone. There was a ball of fire burning in his heart. These despicable and shameless fellows were detestable. He then looked towards the gang leader. He knew that he wouldn't be able to live past tonight. Gang leader, I have followed you for so many years and fought for you. Even if I didn't do much, I have worked hard. Today you want me to die. I am not willing, I don't want to die. Hall Master Zhao's eyes turned red as he stared at the gang leader. He clenched his fists, green veins popped out. The gang leader behind the veil acknowledged. You want to rebel? Hall Master Xiao knew that he wouldn't be able to live today. The gang leader definitely wouldn't let him off. That was because he had seen too many such things. How did he become the Hall Master? The previous Hall Master was killed by the gang leader before he became the Hall Master. Although a long time had passed. But he remembered it in his heart and would never forget those scenes. Gang leader, do you really want me to die? Hall Master Zhao's voice was really low, like he was on the verge of exploding. Hall Master Xiao, you didn't complete my mission, so you have to be punished. This is the gang rule, and no one can change it. I think you should know that. The gang leader shifted his body. The fats on his body were like waves, rumbling. The surrounding higher-ups had a look of enjoyment on their faces. What a nice voice. Suddenly, the expressions of the higher-ups in the room changed. They sensed killing intent from Hall Master Zhao's body. Crazy. Was this fellow crazy? Fatty, damned fatty, I've done so many things for you. Now, just because I haven't completed one thing, you want me to die. How can you be so heartless? Hall Master Zhao was enraged. Since that was the case, he could only fight to the death. When Hall Master Zhao said these words, everyone was shocked. The faces of the higher-ups in the room turned ashen white. They exclaimed and ran outside. Something happened. Something was really going to happen. Damn, are you a fool? You actually said that the gang leader was a fatty. Do you want us to die together? I hate people calling me a fatty. I want to feed you to bugs. Gang leader was furious, endless rage exploded out. Instantly, Hall Master Zhao's pupils dilated as a huge shadow shrouded him. No! Yunlu City Division. Pung! A person was smashed into the ground, forming a deep hole. Looking closely, it was White Demon. Shortly after, a person landed. His legs stepped on the ground, giving out a shocking explosion. Lin Fan raised his leg and stepped on White Demon's face, smashing it into the ground. Is this what you meant by a true expert being able to carry a power alone? If that is all you have, then I really can't see how strong you are. He had some injuries on his body. However, the toughness of his physique was beyond imagination. His injuries were constantly recovering, and he was no longer a hindrance. White Demon wasn't weak, peak Master Realm. After fighting with him for such a long time, his head was starting to hurt. But Lin Fan felt that White Demon wasn't the strongest in peak Master Realm. Although he spent a lot of effort, in the end, he became a salted fish under his feet. A salted fish that couldn't even flip around. Poochie. White Demon coughed. Each time he coughed, he would spit out large amounts of fresh blood. His body felt like it was about to explode. Every single bone in his body seemed to have been broken by his opponent. Even his internal organs were damaged, and he was bleeding profusely. His body was bleeding profusely. You fellow! White Demon glanced at Lin Fan in rage. He was so frustrated that he was about to die. Lin Fan slowly bent down. How is it? I told you that I can't wipe out the headquarters, but it shouldn't be a problem to wipe out your division. Do you have anything else to say? Oh right, where is your division's wealth? He thought about this really important question. Although he wanted to improve his cultivation now, when his cultivation really increased in the future and he needed to enjoy himself, he would need silver to maintain it. This was why if he built a solid foundation when he was young, then it wouldn't be so troublesome in the future. White Demon grinned. One couldn't see his snow-white teeth, only his mouth that was covered in fresh blood. Occasionally, blood would seep out. Do you think I will tell you? So annoying. Lin Fan was helpless. He hated people who were stubborn. He just couldn't understand what was the use of being so stubborn. He didn't bring it with him when he was born and couldn't bring it with him when he died. Helping others was the same as helping himself. Don't be too arrogant. My death isn't much to the headquarters, but your actions have totally infuriated them. I hope that one day you can still be so calm. White Demon stared at Lin Fan like he wanted to remember his face in his heart. Once he turned into a ghost, he would find him to take revenge. Lin Fan took in a deep breath. He reached out and grabbed White Demon's head. He raised it in front of him and tossed it. With a purring, White Demon smashed into the ground and cried out. Forget it, whether you say it or not is up to you. I don't have high expectations for this. He had reached his goal. The division's destruction would let the headquarters know that sometimes one shouldn't offend people easily, otherwise one would end up badly. Feng Poliu felt tired. Why didn't he just say it? Why did he have to hide it? Although wealth wasn't attractive to him, if he had some extra money, he could head to the gambling den and not be tossed out because he had no money. Unfortunately, he didn't want to say it, so he had no choice. After dealing with you, I will go search. If I can't find it, then forget it. Just as Lin Fan was prepared to kill this fellow, a furious shout spread out from the distance. Stop! 2 males and 1 female floated over from the distance. Their movement techniques were really strong, and they left behind long afterimages. The 3 of them from Xiedao sect were enjoying the cauldrons that White Demon found for them. When they noticed the commotion outside, they didn't care much. This was White Demon's matter and should be solved by him. Why would it be their turn? But since White Demon was suppressed, then it had something to do with them. Lin Fan raised his head and looked out. The 3 of them didn't look like they were from 9 Bug Gang, but the aura that they gave off made one feel uncomfortable. Be careful, they seemed to be from Xiedao sect. Feng Polio was knowledgeable and knew where they came from right away. Xiedao sect? What sect is that? Lin Fan didn't know much about sections. The only sect he had seen was Wandering Dragon sect. Feng Polio said, Xiedao sect is an evil sect and was created by a disciple of Yin Yang sect. It has 300 years of history and is really strong. To Lin Fan, this was like listening to a story. After all, a sect with a long history would have a deep foundation. It sounded like a fairy tale to him. Oh, so it is a handsome brother. Why do you like to fight and kill? Why don't you come to my side and enjoy sex? The only girl out of the 3 of them had a flirtatious expression. She wore very little clothes and revealed a large portion of her flesh. Simply put, she was a prostitute. Especially those 2 dots which were really visible and one could see what their shape was like. Lin Fan took a look and said in disdain, You are so flirtatious. You wear so much makeup and I can smell it from so far away. I will leave your corpse intact and not let you spit out blood. I am afraid your blood will be smelly. Chapter 203. Rage Points plus 555. A little weak, he only had so little rage point. He curled his lips in dissatisfaction. Mei Xiu'er, I didn't expect that your charm would be ignored one day. The bald guy beside Mei Xiu'er laughed out loud. There were 6 scars on his head. His upper body was bare and his muscles swelled up. Shut up. Mei Xiu'er stared at him in rage. Just that stare was really alluring and made one's body go soft. White Demon's face was swollen and his eyes were only a slit. He opened his mouth weakly. Save me, however, after he said those words, he regretted it. What was the point of relying on them? The 3 of them weren't as strong as him. At that moment, the guy who didn't speak walked towards Lin Fan. He took out a stone token and tossed it towards him. White Demon is Xiedao sect's friend. I hope that you can give him face and let him off. This token is an apology. In the future, when you head to Xiedao sect, you can ask them to help you do something. He was just bragging and it was basically useless. When he took the token to Xiedao sect, he would definitely not be able to return and he would become a cauldron for the sect. He heard that the sect had a senior brother who wasn't straight. Thinking about that, a weird smile appeared on his face. Suddenly, his smile froze. He whipped at his waist. Terrifying power exploded and his body felt like it was about to explode. Pung! The guy's body flew out like a cannonball, smashing into the stone pillar of the tower. The stone pillar cracked and a huge hole appeared. Even my father's face is useless outside and you are talking about face to me. You are sick in the head. Lin Fan was filled with grievances. His father was so strong and when he faced problems, he used who he was but he was still beaten up by others. Now, these 3 people came from who knew where and casually threw a stone token to make him give face. What was going on? Feng Polio wanted to stop them but it was too late. Young Master Lin was really amazing. He was impressed. Not only did he offend 9 Bug Gang, he even offended Xiedao sect. Amazing, really amazing. How dare you? Mei Xiu'er looked at Lin Fan in shock. He had already reported his background and he still dared to attack. He obviously didn't care about Xiedao sect at all. Bang! Mei Xiu'er didn't even have time to blink. She only felt a gust of wind and the demonic monk beside her disappeared. You don't even have martial path grade 12 cultivation, so how do you expect me to believe how strong your Xiedao sect is? You are just holding this stupid token? Lin Fan smashed the token on her face. The token bounced a little, then fell into the gap between the tall buildings. There was a time when water filled the sky due to friction. What are you talking about? The current situation was not good for Mei Xiu'er. There were 3 of them just now, but now she was the only one left. At this moment, Mei Xiu'er came to her senses and looked at the man in front of her. Her eyes were filled with fear. It was impossible to resist. She was the weakest here. Even the strongest could not resist. How could she resist? Perhaps, Mei Xiu'er hummed. The token in her hand was cold, stimulating her senses. She didn't act too much. She just hoped that she would use this small humph to attract his attention. Maybe it would be fine. White Demon didn't have the energy to say anything. He didn't expect this fellow to actually kill a Xiedao sect disciple. With Xiedao sect's personality, they definitely wouldn't let him off. He didn't say anything. It was useless to say anything now. Feng Polia saw Lin Fan stare at Mei Xiu'er and thought that he liked her. He reminded, "Young Master Lin, since you have offended her, then there is no turning back. You can't leave her alive." If he didn't attack, he really didn't want Lin Fan to have conflicts with Xiedao sect. But now that 2 of them were killed, if one was left alive, then it would be a problem in the future. When Mei Xiu'er heard this, she was terrified. Her gaze towards Feng Polia was filled with rage. "Jerk, if I didn't die, I would take your life." However, Lin Fan's next words made her heave a sigh of relief. "You really are vicious, you can even attack a woman. I will never hurt a beautiful flower in my life." Lin Fan looked at Feng Polia and objected to his cruel actions. He waved his hand. "Cousin, come over for a moment." Zhou Zhongmao walked in front of Cousin. "Come, touch her head with this hand, touch her chin with this hand." Lin Fan told Cousin to do it. Cousin was smart and knew right away. He didn't need to learn at all and his actions were really standard. Mei Xiu'er was filled with questions. What was he doing? "Cousin, do you feel anything?" Lin Fan asked. Zhou Zhongmao shook his head. "Cousin, I don't feel anything?" This was normal. Zhou Zhongmao really didn't feel anything at all. Even if Mei Xiu'er's breasts were huge, Cousin's gaze didn't even sweep over them. Even if he did, it was an unintentional action. Mei Xiu'er was nervous, but she felt that he didn't attack because he was interested in her. Moreover, he said that he would never hurt a beautiful flower. This meant that she could still live. As long as she was alive, she would have a chance to contact Xiedao sect. At that time, she would be able to take revenge. "Twisted," Lin Fan said. The moment he said this, Kacha, her neck broke. That was the sound of her spine breaking. Feng Polia opened his mouth and stared at Lin Fan with his mouth agape. He didn't expect this fellow to have such a dark side. The moment Mei Xiu'er's spine broke, she provided him with 555 rage points. The peak of her life. "You really aren't going to say where you placed the silver?" Lin Fan looked at White Demon and asked. White Demon gave a tragic smile. "If I don't say, you won't let me off. If I say it, you still won't let me off." What happened tonight would definitely spread to the 9-Bug Gang headquarters by tomorrow night. At that time, all the divisions would be wary. It wouldn't be so easy to wipe them out, and they might even lose their lives. Zhou Zhongmao placed the silver he dug out one by one onto the horse carriage. "Cousin, it is done." Lin Fan patted Cousin's shoulder and said in satisfaction, "Very good. Cousin, don't be so murderous in the future. Many people died tonight." Understood, Cousin." Zhou Zhongmao nodded his head and listened to Cousin's words. Cousin told him not to be so murderous, so he lowered it by a little. Feng Polia dissed. Who was the murderous one? Lin Fan left his portrait and name. He wasn't afraid that they would know who he was. Anyway, the world was so huge and Jiang City was so far away from Fuzhou. Even if they cracked their brains, they wouldn't be able to guess. If one day they found out who he was, no, that wasn't possible. Before they found out, maybe he would have already wiped out the 9 Bug Gang headquarters. Also, the Xiedao sect disciples he met made him realize a problem. Even the disciples of powerful sects would not necessarily have a high cultivation base. He thought that when he broke through to Master Realm experts would be everywhere. Now, it seemed like that wasn't the case. If not, the Yunlu City division wouldn't just have White Demon, this peak Master Realm expert. Feng Poliu, do you think there are many Master Realm people? Lin Fan asked. Feng Poliu said, it depends on the situation. Normal people need 30 to 40 years to reach Master Realm. Actually, it depends on talent and the place. Within hundreds of miles of Jiang City, there shouldn't be more than 5. If we go to some big cities or strong sects, there will be many. Lin Fan understood what he meant. Just like in the past, it was tough to find 1 in 100 million in a town. There were a few in the county and many in the city. When they went to important cities, they would be everywhere. That was what he meant. Chapter 204. The next day, Yunlu City commoners surrounded the division and didn't dare to enter. They pointed at the situation inside and discussed softly. In a night, 9 Bug Gang was wiped out. Some people heard the commotion inside but didn't dare to come out. They could only hide in their blankets and shiver, waiting for things to end. Last night, I heard movement. It lasted for a long time. There were also tragic cries. After a long while, the cries disappeared and I heard the sound of horses. This person was telling the truth. It was obvious that he lived next to the branch and had heard everything that had happened last night without missing a single detail. Even wiping out the 9 Bug Gang division, who is so bold? The commoners discussed. To them, all of this was too far away. In their hearts, they only knew that 9 Bug Gang was strong. The division was strong too, and no one dared to offend them. Now that they stood at the entrance and saw the tragic situation inside, it had a huge impact on them. Very quickly, a bunch of guys riding horses came to the entrance. Their expressions were dark and sunken as they chased away the commoners. One of them walked in to take a look. Corpses were all over the ground. Even if the guy had been through a lot, when he saw those scenes, he panicked and didn't know what to do. Who had the guts to do such a thing? Did they really want to die? That night. Pung! Damn, bunch of trash, what do I need you for? There was a loud explosion. Terrifying internal strength exploded from the gang leader's body, forming a shock wave that spread out. The expressions of the higher-ups changed. They were unable to block it at all and were smacked away into the water. Then, it was like they thought about something terrifying in the river. They jumped onto the boat and returned to the cabin, kneeling in front of the gang leader. They cursed in their hearts. Damn it. You bastards, even if you want to cause trouble, you can't do that. If you have balls, then come to the headquarters. You went to wipe out the division, weren't you just making us suffer? Moreover, when they sensed the terrifying aura of the gang leader, their hearts turned cold. Too terrifying. Who is Lin Fan? Who is he? Damn, what a bastard. Damn bastards, they actually destroyed the Yunlu branch. Damn it, search for them. Even if the sky and earth flip, find them for me. Gang leader was really angry. That angry voice was like a boiling fire, burning them until they were drenched in sweat, as if they could melt at any moment. The world was vast. Where was he going to find it? The frequent incidents actually made him forget about the precious treasure that the gang had lost. The higher-ups were terrified, and they all disappeared from the spot. They knew that the gang leader was angry, and no one could escape. They were furious. Of all the people you could have provoked, you just had to provoke our gang leader, and even dragged us into this. You're really despicable. Early morning. Zhou Zhongmao drove the carriage and Lin Fan and Feng Poliu sat behind. Young Master Lin, our target is too obvious and we can't stop. We have to leave 9 bug gangs' territory. Feng Poliu muttered that along the way. When he passed by the city, Lin Fan didn't want to panic. He wanted to find a place to rest and wait for daybreak before leaving. But Feng Poliu couldn't. He had to rush through the night as if he was afraid that people would notice him. Stop talking. From last night till now, you have said it hundreds of times. You might not be annoyed, but I am. Lin Fan was helpless. He really wanted to toss this fellow off the carriage. Feng Poliu said, I am just reminding you, I don't mean anything else. Moreover, how did I say it so many times? It was just a few times. Truthfully, he had huge gains this time. These were all treasures, and it was hard to estimate. Not all of them were silver, but there were many gems and other precious things. As for how much they were worth, he had to hire a professional to calculate them. Lin Fan placed his hands at the back of his head and leaned against the chest. He was really relaxed and looked at Fuzhou, which he couldn't see at all. I will return. He went to Fuzhou and personally experienced 9 bug gangs' situation. They weren't something he could deal with now, but he could still cause some problems for them. Perhaps they were now stamping with rage, so angry that they wished they could beat him to death. Just thinking about it made him a little excited. Who asked you to fight with me? If I wasn't slightly weaker, why would I play with you until now? I would have killed all of you long ago. Feng Poliu glanced and noticed that this kid's smile was a little smug. Who knew what he was thinking about? Feng Poliu, did you really kill your master? Lin Fan asked. Damn. Weren't you thinking about something? Why did you push the blame to me? He recognized the wrong person. Feng Poliu said. Lin Fan said, I don't think that I recognize the wrong person. You are indeed from Insect Valley, otherwise, how would you have the bug controlling technique? Did you kill your master for it? Actually, it isn't a big deal. It is normal for young people to do things. As long as you repent, it is okay. Although I will look down on you, I won't look down on you. Feng Poliu turned around and turned his face to the side. He didn't want to speak to Lin Fan anymore. At that moment, several people struck from the distance. They rode horses and wore the same attire. They didn't recognize what Lin Fan and the others were wearing, but they all carried swords on their backs. When these people passed Lin Fan, they just took a curious look. They didn't stop and just left right away. Sword Palace people. Feng Poliu looked on and was confused. Why would Sword Palace disciples appear here? After all, Sword Palace was 108,000 miles away from here. It wasn't really that far, it was just an example. You know them? Lin Fan asked. Feng Poliu said, I don't, I just know them. Sword Palace is a really strong sect, but it is really weird. Why are there so many disciples from large sects? Did something happen? Who cares, anyway, it has nothing to do with us. Lin Fan looked at the sky like he was in a daze. His cultivation was already at master realm. Although he wasn't at the peak, he wasn't weak either. He wanted to get some top cultivation technique. Actually, the simplest way was to return to U City to find his father. With his foundations, he definitely had many. But he still wanted to rely on his own ability to get what he wanted. Once his strength increased, he would return to give his father a surprise. Feng Poliu, do you know where to get top heart cultivation or physique-raising techniques? Lin Fan asked. Fuzhou has them. Feng Poliu said, but you can't go back, you are just asking to die. If you really want, you can head to Rong City. Rong City has a market. Although it can't compare to Fuzhou, there are top cultivation techniques there. As long as you have enough silver. Rong City? Lin Fan thought about it. He thought about Li Jixio and said, okay, then let's not head back. Let's head to Rong City first. Can you stop with this and that? Why do you need so many top-notch cultivation techniques? Given your current situation, it seems like you've already cultivated quite a few of them. Feng Poliu didn't understand. So many top cultivation techniques were useless. There was a limit to one's strength. Who would cultivate so many? You don't need to care. Lin Fan replied. Then, he sighed. Can I tell you that my cultivation technique isn't enough anymore? The small support system was really strong. But the drawbacks slowly appeared. That was that he couldn't rely on one cultivation technique to forcefully reach a higher realm. Other people could cultivate a cultivation technique to the peak, spending years or even decades to accumulate internal strength to a certain level and then reach a higher realm. After he raised a top cultivation technique to the peak, even if he cultivated slowly, his internal strength wouldn't increase. So he needed more cultivation techniques to strengthen his body. Feng Poliu didn't understand what young Master Lin was thinking, but he didn't say much. Since he wanted to head to Rong City, then he would. Rong City wasn't far from here, but it wasn't close either. It would take at least 5 days to get there. During this period of time, 9 Bug Gang didn't stop searching for Lin Fan. But they didn't find anything. The portrait was too narrow, and it was too difficult to recognize a person based on the portrait. Thus, during this period of time, 9 Bug Gang members were covered in darkness. Every day, people died. It wasn't the gang leader who did it, but those higher-ups who were under huge pressure and needed to vent it out. They flipped hundreds of miles of land and searched, but there were no signs of him. It was like he had evaporated from the world and was nowhere to be found. After several days of rushing, they finally arrived at Rong City. I do have someone familiar here. Lin Fan smiled. Feng Poliu said helplessly, I do too, but she isn't friendly to me. The person you are talking about is the gambling den, right? The person I am talking about is the daughter of the Li family, who my father almost wanted to be my wife. Although she knew that she wasn't good enough for me and left the Lin family, I am still familiar with her. Could he not do that? What Feng Poliu hated the most in his life was people bragging. He had no choice. This young Master Lin kept on bragging, and he was about to explode. Feng Poliu said, Young Master Lin, didn't you want to buy cultivation techniques? Then let's go find someone. Such a situation usually requires someone to pull strings. Okay, then let's go. Lin Fan said. On the way to find the contact person, he found out from Feng Poliu that the markets were supported by many rich families and strong sections. As for one person holding one, that was impossible. After all, no one had such ability. He followed Feng Poliu to a gambling den. Lin Fan looked at Feng Poliu. Do you want to go in and gamble? No, the person who pulled the strings is inside. Wait for me outside, I'll be right out. Feng Poliu said and walked in. When he reached the door, he turned his head and said, Why don't you lend me some, I want to play. No. Lin Fan rejected right away. Feng Poliu sighed. He didn't cherish such a good chance to help him. Do you really have to wait until I'm rich to add flowers to the brocade? Chapter 205. You didn't come at the right time, you have to wait until tomorrow night. Lin Fan looked at the person that Feng Poliu said was the middleman. There was nothing special about him. He was just a normal person. If he was tossed into a crowd, he would be useless. But such a person was actually the middleman. One had to say that he made people look up to him. Such a normal person didn't attract attention at all. Only people who did big things would do that. Lin Fan's thoughts were in his head, so he could think whatever he wanted. Okay, we will come here tomorrow night to find you, Feng Poliu said. He hadn't participated in the Rong City market, but he had participated in other places. It was basically the same, there was no difference. The middleman took a look at Lin Fan and didn't say anything. He just entered the gambling den. Young Master Lin, we can come tomorrow night. Now we need to find a place to rest. Feng Poliu said. Lin Fan was a little curious about the market tomorrow night. who knew what it would be like. He said, "Okay, let's find an inn to rest for a while. Young Master Lin, didn't you say that Rong City's Li family little miss nearly became your wife? Even if we aren't fated, at least our relationship is, why not head to the Li family?" Feng Poliu wanted to expose Lin Fan. Lin Fan squinted and looked at Feng Poliu. This fellow was a little dishonest. Did he want to see whether or not what he said was true? If that was the case, then he would be disappointed. Although he was bragging. But it was true. "Okay, then let's go to the Li family, they are familiar." Lin Fan smiled. He didn't believe that the Li family wouldn't let him stay. He had to do what he bragged about. If Feng Polia looked down on him, then where would he have any face? Outside the Li manor. The manor door was open, and there were 2 guards guarding. Zhou Zhongmao walked forwards and was stopped by the guard. He told the guard that Yu City Lin family young master was here and quickly went to report. The guard heard that his little miss was going to marry into the Yu City Lin family. Although he didn't remember clearly, it seemed like such a thing happened. He immediately went to report. However, when he turned his head, he saw Old Master and Wang family young master walk over. "Old Master Li, I can consider this matter," Wang Yunfei said politely. He had a smile on his face. Since he returned from Yu City, he felt that his body wasn't right. It seemed like he was frightened by the Hongxiu Pavilion, and that thing couldn't get hard. This was a very terrifying thing. Wang Yunfei was naturally scared out of his wits. As the young master of the Wang clan, he had to carry on the family line. If he was crippled just like that, it would be terrible. Therefore, he naturally looked for a famous doctor. The famous doctor told him that he had suffered a serious shock, causing him to blah blah blah. In any case, he did not understand. The only thing he understood was that there was no cure for him at the moment and he had to wait. He was frightened in Yu City because he wanted to know who did it. But he never found it. Okay. Old Master Li smiled. He didn't agree to Wang Yunfei's suggestion. "Master, someone is waiting for you outside," the guard said. Old Master Li was confused, who was waiting for him. When he reached the door and saw the figure outside, his heart skipped a beat. Oh my God! Why is he here? At first glance, he had already recognized who the other party was. Lin family's young master Lin Fan. Wasn't he living well in Yu City? Why did he come to Chengdu? In the blink of an eye, Old Master Li thought of many possibilities. For example, Lin family was wiped out by King Wudong and nephew Lin came to join him. But that was impossible. Very quickly, he tossed such thoughts to the back of his head. Was he here to propose? Even if he brought her back to Rong City, he still thought about her, which was why he personally came to propose. Looking at the carriage filled with boxes, that was really possible. Nephew Lin. Old Master Li's face was filled with smiles as he welcomed him. Lin Fan smiled and looked at Feng Polio like he was saying that he wasn't bragging to him. "Uncle Li, it has been a long time since we parted ways in Yu City." Lin Fan cupped his fists and said. Then, when he saw Wang Yunfei, he recognized him with a single look. "Aren't you that young Master Wang who came to Yu City to visit brothels?" Lin Fan exclaimed, directly exposing his background. Rage points plus 99. Wang Yunfei had completely forgotten about Lin Fan. But when he heard the words of the other party, he was stunned. What did those words mean? It was a little annoying. "Kiki, who is this? Have we met before?" Wang Yunfei scoffed and asked. His gaze was a little off, like he was asking what the heck were you saying? Why did his words make him feel so annoyed? Old Master Li looked at Wang Yunfei. He hated brothels the most. Who knew that Wang Yunfei not only visited Rong City, but he even went to Yu City? What a joke. "Young Master Wang, you are so forgetful. Didn't you have a good time with Yuan Tianshu? He directly brought you to the most popular brothel in Yu City, Hongxiu Pavilion. How did you forget?" Lin Fan smiled. Rage points plus 199. A decent amount of rage points. Although it wasn't much, to be able to increase it was a form of improvement. Damn. Can't you shut the F***ck up? Wang Yunfei was furious. Did this fellow know how to speak, or was he so ignorant to casually say such things? He really wanted to shut his mouth. You got the wrong person. You must have got the wrong person. Wang Yunfei, never go to these brothels. Wang Yunfei waved his hands and cupped his fists. Old Masterly, you have a guest here, so I won't disturb you. Goodbye. The moment he said that, Wang Yunfei left without turning his head. Even if Lin Fan shouted from behind, he didn't care and didn't react at all. In his heart, he cursed Lin Fan's entire family 10,000 times. If Lin Fan knew, he would definitely shout, "Father, someone wants to do you. Kid, you know him?" Old Masterly smiled and asked. Right, there is no reason. The last time he came to U City, young Master Yuan welcomed him. He even went to the most famous Hongxiu Pavilion to play for a night, so how could I not know him? Lin Fan shook his head and felt a little regretful. Old Masterly believed Lin Fan's words. If he hadn't been there, then there was no need for Wang Yunfei to run so quickly. Now that things had passed, Old Masterly just remembered it in his heart and didn't say much more. Kid, come in, don't stand at the door. Old Masterly said. Lin Fan told cousin to arrange the carriage. These riches were really important, and if they were lost, he wouldn't even be able to cry. Back courtyard. Suilan ran in a panic. Little miss, not good, something happened. That fellow chased us here. Li Jixio was training. She had returned home for over a month and trained every day. Seeing Suilan run over in panic, she stopped. What happened? Who came? Suilan's face turned red and she said in fear, "It is you City Lin family young master. He is here with old master." When she mentioned Lin Fan, Suilan's heart jumped. She was really frightened. To her, you City Lin family young master was really terrifying and loved to torture people. He was also someone who killed mercilessly. She personally witnessed it and was so terrified that she nearly peed her pants. Li Jixio's expression changed slightly. In her mind, scenes that she didn't dare to imagine appeared. Lin Fan's cruel and violent actions didn't scare her at all. Actually, what she was most afraid of was that when night fell, she would fall unconscious for no reason. When she opened her eyes the next day, he would be lying beside her. That was something that Li Jixio couldn't imagine. This was why when her father and mother came to the Lin family, she had thoughts of retreating. Living room. Kid, since you came to Rong City to do something, then you can stay here for the night. Old Masterly said. He had already asked and found out that the kid didn't come to Rong City to ask for marriage. He was just passing by. Although he heaved a sigh of relief, for some reason, he felt a little regretful. Thank you, uncle. I won't stand on ceremony. Lin Fan smiled and then looked towards Feng Poli. Did you see that? Did you think I lied to you? What I said was true. Feng Poli looked at Lin Fan. He didn't get to the main point. Forget it. You are amazing. You can act cool. I won't compete with you. Originally, Lin Fan didn't want to come to the Li family, but looking at Feng Polia's disbelieving gaze, he felt really uncomfortable. He could tell anyone loudly. Do you believe that I, Lin Fan, have never said a single word that I, Lin Fan, am bragging? Don't believe it? Good. He immediately brought Feng Poliu to the Li family to prove it. When Wang Yunfei returned to the manor, his face was dark and sunken. He was really unhappy. The servants around saw that young master's expression was so ugly, so they didn't dare to say anything. They all retreated far away. Then, Wang Yunfei waved his hands and a servant ran over. Go find some experts for me. Yes, young master. The servant replied and then left. He knew that someone was going to be unlucky in young master's hands. Wang Yunfei recognized who Lin Fan was. U City young master Lin. When he went to U City, Yuan Tianchu welcomed him. Yuan Tianchu had conflicts with this fellow and even made Wang Yunfei furious. He even said it directly. If such a fellow dared to come to Rong City, he would teach him a lesson. Now that he came, he even said that he went to a brothel in front of old Master Li. Who could take that? If he didn't teach him a lesson, he would think that he was easy to bully. Li Manor. Lin Fan and the others were arranged in the third-row courtyard. They bumped into Tsuelon, who was carrying a basin. She screamed like she had seen a ghost, turning around and running. Lin Fan was stunned. Who was it? I don't even know you, so your actions are a little exaggerated. The next night, Lin Fan brought cousin and Feng Poliu to the Li Manor. Young Master Lin, we brought a carriage of treasures. Isn't that a little too obvious? Are we purposely inviting people to commit crimes? Feng Poliu felt that something wasn't right. We might have to fight tonight. If we don't bring it, we won't have any confidence, Lin Fan said. Anyway, the riches didn't belong to him. Buying some martial path cultivation techniques was a good choice. Chapter 206. It was already past midnight. There was no one on the street. Feng Poliu, isn't it a loss to use these secret techniques to exchange for money a little? Lin Fan asked. Feng Poliu said, to me it is indeed a loss, but to others it might not be a loss. Although martial path techniques are important, more important is wealth. Humans die for wealth, birds die for food, that is the unchanging logic. Dang dang. Not far away there was the sound of metal rubbing. Several shadows flashed across the alley. From the shadows, one could see that they were assassins with blades. Damn, they finally came out. They waited for Li family for 2 full days, how vicious. Young Master Wang's money isn't easy to earn. Brothers, remember this and teach him a lesson. Cousin, I smell a very weak killing intent. Zhou Zhongmao stopped moving forward and stared at the dark alley not far away. Oh. Lin Fan didn't care. He sensed that these people weren't strong, probably grade 2 or 3. Who wanted to take revenge on him? Or did they just want to earn a living? Very quickly, 6 masked men in black shirts appeared on the streets with blades in their hands. They blocked Lin Fan and the others. They gave off a cold aura, filled with killing intent. A battle was about to begin. Zhou Zhongmao frowned and jumped up. He jumped off the carriage and landed on the ground. With a kacha sound, cracks appeared on the ground. He shouted in rage, "Are you asking to die?" Their mouths were agape. The 6 men in black shirts looked at the cracked bricks beneath their feet. Their bodies shook and they felt that something wasn't right. Quang dang! Their blades fell to the ground. "Hero, please spare us, we are just trying to earn a living." The 6 of them knelt on the ground, burying their heads in the ground. They shivered and knelt down to him. They were just trying to earn a living. They had eyes and knowledge. He leapt up, and when he landed, the ground cracked. Was that something they could do? Zhou Zhongmao didn't care whether or not they were just trying to earn a living. He was about to attack. "Cousin, it isn't easy to earn a living, forget it," Lin Fan said. Zhou Zhongmao glanced. "You are lucky." When the carriage passed by, the 6 of them immediately stood at the side. "Thank you for not killing us, great hero. Have a safe journey, great hero." Until he couldn't see it anymore. "Big brother, it was so dangerous. I almost lost my life." "Yeah, I felt a strong killing intent enveloping me just now. If we had knelt any slower, we would definitely be lying here." "What about young Master Wang?" "What young Master Wang? Can't you see how strong he is? Hurry up and leave. With my many years of experience, don't get involved in this matter. Retreat. Young Master Lin, your situation isn't right. Why are people finding trouble with you everywhere you go?" Feng Poliu sighed. "People like that wouldn't have a good life in the future." Lin Fan smiled. "Those who don't attract jealousy are mediocre. Wherever I go, people find trouble with me. That can only mean that they are jealous. F***ck. Feng Polia felt that he was really dumb, asking such useless questions. It was easy for him to act cool. He really regretted it. The person who knew how to brag the most in his life was young Master Lin in front of him. He met the middleman at the gambling den. "Follow me. Don't make a sound no matter what you see," the middleman said, after which, he was in charge of driving the carriage. Walking around the city, turning left and right, he didn't know where he was going. Gradually, fog appeared around him. This fog was originally only floating under his feet, but as time passed, it gradually covered him. Other than being able to see the people around him, the surrounding environment was a vast expanse of whiteness. He couldn't see anything else. Lin Fan felt that it was really magical. Maybe this wasn't something that martial path could do. "We are here," the middleman said. Who knew when, but there was actually a huge residence in front of them. "Don't worry, no one will cause trouble here. Even if you meet enemies, it is okay as no one dares to attack here." The middleman explained the situation here. This wasn't the first time Feng Polia came here, so he was used to it. So amazing! Lin Fan was really interested in this place. Feng Polia said, "That is indeed the case. Until now, not many people dare to cause trouble here." "Then, our things." Lin Fan was still thinking about how to settle the account. After all, these few chests of treasures couldn't be carried in. "Young Master Lin, it is okay. Just leave it outside. Once you pick something, someone will follow us out to get money. Moreover, leave the items here and there will be people guarding it. Nothing will happen," Feng Polia said. Even such an experienced person like Feng Polia said that, so it was obviously true. "Cousin, you all enter, I will watch here," Zhou Zhongmao said. Lin Fan nodded his head. It was safe for cousin to guard here. He pushed the door open. Instantly, there was a lot of noise from within. The room was really wide, lights were hung high, people walked to and fro. There were many stalls all around and many people were looking at them. "Young Master Lin, the rules here are very simple. You can only look at the classification, you can't touch it, and you can't touch it either. There are two types of manuals here, one is unique, and the other is the duplicate. Unique means that after you buy it, there won't be a second copy for sale. Duplicate means that after you buy it, others can also buy it. Therefore, you're not the only one who knows this martial art manual, so the price difference between the two is like heaven and earth." Feng Polia introduced the situation here to Lin Fan. Based on his estimation, just the flow of wealth here was an astronomical figure. Although he knew that this market was created by a few aristocratic families and sects, he didn't know which powers were involved. It had always been a mystery. Lin Fan wanted to casually flip through it and imprint it in the small support system. Now, it seemed like that was impossible. They definitely didn't know that he had the small support system, but they were afraid of meeting people with photographic memory. The people who bought things here all had strong internal strength. However, he didn't see any in Rong City. Maybe they rushed over at this time. He came to a stall. There was a list on the stall. 12 Secret Technique. Master Realm Technique. At the same time, it was split into heart cultivation techniques, and external cultivation technique. Then, there was the introduction of the cultivation technique, and also the price. So expensive. A cultivation technique within the 12th stage of the martial path actually cost 100,000 silvers. Some of the stronger ones cost 200,000 silvers. That was way too King Ruthless. It made him want to sell his secret manuals. "If I sell them here, will I be able to sell them?" Lin Fan asked. Feng Polia rolled his eyes. "Don't think about it, that is impossible. Do you think that anyone can sell them? Even if you dare to sell them, others might not dare to buy them. There were many fake ones on the market, and it was normal for the real ones to be mixed in. These are all duplicates. Some cultivation techniques don't sell duplicates, they are only sold once. You can take a look and don't worry." Feng Polia said. Lin Fan slowly understood the situation. Those secret manuals that were only sold once were all top-secret manuals. Master Realm techniques were expensive. Grandmaster techniques were so expensive that one wouldn't dare to believe their own eyes. Young Master Lin, don't think that they are expensive. Each one is the hard work of numerous experts. Techniques created by true experts are worth cities and can cause a bloodbath in the world. Feng Polia said. Insect Valley's bug-controlling technique, how much is it worth? Lin Fan asked. Feng Polia laughed. If you dare to sell it, no one will dare to buy it. That was absolute confidence. The techniques sold here are from some large sections. They need money to sell them. If any sect finds out that someone is selling their techniques without their permission, then they can forget about living in peace. They will definitely fight to the death. Feng Poliu explained the risks and some rules to Lin Fan. Lin Fan didn't care. Fight to the death? That only meant that he wasn't strong enough. If he was strong enough, then he would just wipe them out. No one would dare to say any nonsense. He continued to search for a suitable cultivation technique for himself. He needed some heart cultivation and external body training technique. He didn't need any cultivation techniques now. Mixed energy broken jade hand hadn't improved, so where would he get so many rage points? With the current situation, master-level techniques were what he needed the most. It would be even better if he had grandmaster technique. However, the price was unimaginable. Not only did this place sell techniques, but there were also many pills and treasures. That thing was useless to him. What dragon beard grass, yin yang great return pill, heaven and earth energy pill, no matter how strong they were, he didn't need them. Slowly, his brows furrowed. He was really engrossed and didn't miss out on the introduction of any technique. At that moment, he stopped in front of a stall. An external body training technique attracted his attention. Barbarian Saint Battle Technique, Master Realm Technique. 180 years ago, Barbarian Saint failed to break through to Grandmaster Realm. He summarized his martial path experience and left the Barbarian Saint Battle Technique. Zhou Cook cultivated this technique and a year ago, he was killed by others on the snow mountain. Effect: initial training will strengthen vital energy, barbarian blood will boil and strengthen one's body. When trained to large success, the barbarian aura will spread 1,000 meters, vital energy like a dragon charging into the sky, forming a barbarian tattoo. The effect is really special, best for solo and group battles. He didn't expect that the introduction here would be so detailed, even knowing when the person died. Amazing, really amazing. It was just that the price, 2 million taels of silver, was too *king expensive. He suddenly realized that the 300,000 silver he'd painstakingly earned some time ago wasn't even enough to buy a single secret manual, and it was truly unacceptable. The stall owner said, "Young hero, barbaric saint battle technique is not bad. If it wasn't for it being an external technique, the price wouldn't be 2 million silver. Although it is hard to cultivate, this external technique isn't limited to Master Realm. Even Grandmaster Realm people can continue to cultivate it." Suddenly, a voice spread out from the side. "This technique," Lin Fan raised his hand. "Don't bother, I like this external technique, I will buy it." Chapter 207. After Lin Fan said such domineering words, everyone was stunned. His voice instantly disappeared. He didn't expect such a place to have such people. Feng Polia looked at the introduction of the cultivation technique and his head felt like it was about to explode. "Actually, you can wait. This technique might not be that good for you. You can look at others and maybe you will have a new choice." Lin Fan said, "If I look at too much, it will affect my judgment. This external cultivation technique is not bad, it is what I need." It was just that 2 million taels of silver was really *king expensive. So expensive that his heart turned cold. Luckily, this wealth wasn't his and came easily. However, this was the first time he spent so much. The stall owner was a middle-aged fatty. When he smiled, his eyes became a line. This young hero has a good attitude, his future is limitless. Young hero, please take this token. After this ends, someone will be waiting for you at the entrance. Lin Fan looked at the token in his hand. There was nothing special about it, there was a mark on it which should be related to this technique. He had obtained an external cultivation technique and had some gains. However, he didn't understand. Techniques were just too expensive now, so expensive that it was a little scary. After all, it was just a Master Realm technique. If someone heard that, they would smash his head. Hearing his tone, why did it sound like Master Realm was so normal? Zhou Zhongmao was talented and was one of the top. He cultivated for decades and only reached grade 9. Recently, he had improved and was about to break through. If he cultivated like that, he would need several years to reach Master Realm. Even if Lin Wani opened up all his meridians, he would need a year. Lin Fan thought about it. With his own situation, Purple Sun Force Saint Scripture and Demon Heart Enforcing Scripture weren't low grade, they were Master Realm technique. Even if he didn't cultivate other heart cultivation techniques, it was enough to reach peak master. Maybe when Father gave him these techniques, he was thinking about it. Whether or not he could reach Master Realm was a problem. Let's just leave it at that. How much silver do you think our carriage of treasures is worth? Lin Fan asked. If he didn't have enough silver in the end, that would be a huge problem. Wait for me. After Feng Polia thought about it, he left hurriedly. After a period of time, he came back and whispered into Lin Fan's ear. I showed it to them, there are roughly 7 million. Lin Fan knew that it was indeed a huge sum of money. Then, he went to another stall to continue looking at secret manuals. Xiao Chen had no interest in the secret manuals of Great Grandmaster level Martial Grandmaster level masters. None of them were lower than 5 million silver taels. As for secret manuals of Great Grandmaster level masters and above, he did not see any. In Feng Polia's words, Grandmaster and above techniques weren't something that could be measured by money. If one wanted to obtain secret manuals above the Great Grandmaster level, one would have to use real treasures to exchange for them. Moreover, Chengdu did not have the qualifications to sell secret manuals of Great Grandmaster and above. Forget it. Don't think about such distant things. It was better to work hard to raise his cultivation to peak master and then step into Grandmaster. At that time, he wouldn't need to buy techniques anymore. He could just find a random faction to snatch and take them. Then, he wouldn't have any burden at all. Not long later, he was interested in an external cultivation technique, 9 Heavens Lightning Drawing Technique. When he saw the name, he thought that it was a celestial technique. Now that he looked at the introduction, it was another technique that was a little hard to cultivate. This technique was a little more expensive than Barbaric Saint Battle Technique. It needed 3 million silver. Moreover, there was only one copy. He realized that the market was such a scam. Although there were some copies of Master Realm techniques, they didn't look like much and didn't have anything special about them. To such an eye-catching and special person like him, techniques that weren't special were trash. Buying 2 techniques and he didn't have 5 million silver. How terrifying! External cultivation was enough. He wanted to use the remaining silver to buy some pills for cousin. To let cousin feel the joy of his strength soaring. When he looked at these things, he noticed that the people around all chose suitable items for themselves. They were also really generous. Oh my God, do you think everyone here is so rich? Lin Fan asked. He really didn't dare to imagine. When he had 300,000 silver, he felt like he was rich. After coming here to take a look, he realized that he was really poor. Even his hands felt a little itchy. Yes, actually, the people who come here don't just buy for themselves. Among this group of people, there are many figures of the higher-ups of the sections. They come here to buy secret manuals in order to fill up the secret manuals library of the sections. There are more secret manuals for the disciples to choose from. So, if you want to become stronger, it is very necessary to join a powerful sect. Otherwise, if you want to become strong by yourself, there is basically no hope. Techniques aren't cabbages and can't be found everywhere. Some people are talented, but if they don't join a strong sect or aristocratic family, they won't be able to find suitable technique. Their cultivation will be stuck there, and they might not be able to break through for the rest of their lives. As for those who don't have any power to back them up, if they want to become a peak expert, out of 1,000,000, there might not be one. Fong Polio came out from Insect Valley and his knowledge was really terrifying. After all, he stood at a high position, so naturally he could see more things. Lin Fan nodded his head. Those words made sense. At the same time, it allowed him to understand something. No wonder he didn't pick up any techniques after beating so many people to death. Were the major forces so strict with their control over secret manuals now? Lin Fan asked. Does my father have a backer? Fong Polio wanted to say something, but he kept quiet. Did this fellow want to act cool in front of him? He could tell him that it was impossible. He definitely wouldn't give him such a chance. As for his father, he was just 1 out of 1,000,000. Why? Lin Fan saw that Fong Polio didn't speak, so he patted his shoulder and asked. Nothing, I am not familiar with your father, so I won't comment much. Fong Polio said. At that moment, there was a loud noise coming from the front. It sounded like someone was arguing, and it caused quite a commotion in the house, which was not very noisy yet. Are you blind? Do you know who I am? You dare to snatch this thing from me? The one who spoke was a young man. He wore beautiful clothes and looked really handsome, but at this moment, he was really arrogant. His eyes were filled with a sense of superiority. Kid, don't be too arrogant. The person that the young man scolded was a middle-aged man. He felt like he had lost face and replied in rage. Kiki, arrogant, so what if I am arrogant? Even the various powers behind me have to give my family some face. Who do you think you are? The young man raised his head and looked at the middle-aged man in disdain. He then said, If you don't believe me, you can try. He was young and energetic, his aura was shocking. He actually suppressed the middle-aged man. Who are you? The middle-aged man asked coldly. The young man laughed in disdain. Zhao family 9th son, Zhao Bufan. The middle-aged man's expression changed from rage to shock. His face turned red as he lowered his head and left. It was obvious that Zhao family's name shocked him. What is the background of this Zhao family? Didn't you say that people aren't allowed to cause trouble here? Why is he fine? Lin Fan asked. Fong Polio felt like he was being slapped in the face. This is the Imperial Dynasty Zhao family, young master. Their family is really strong and can be considered a giant. We can't offend them. Fong Polio said softly. Zhao Bufan smiled coldly and looked around. I passed by Rong City and came to take a look since I had nothing to do. Recently, I lack experts by my side. Who here is willing to follow me back to Zhao family? Of course, trash below master don't come, I only need experts. Lin Fan was impressed by how arrogant he was. It would be a miracle if he wasn't beaten to death by someone right now. But one had to say that. The people around wanted to attack, but when they heard that it was the Imperial Dynasty Zhao family, their expressions changed. They lowered their heads and talked to one another. Young Master Zhao, I am Qin Tai, initial master. I am willing to follow by your side and work for you. A bearded man walked out and said. Lin Fan muttered softly, Does he have no pride? Fong Polio said, This isn't about pride but the fastest way to get close to an aristocratic family. In my opinion, Zhao Bufan isn't well liked in Zhao family. But even then, to outsiders, it is a chance for him to become a phoenix. Life isn't fair. The rules here are useful to others but to the true aristocratic families, as long as one doesn't go overboard, they will close one eye. Zhao Bufan is the 9th son of Zhao family. Although he doesn't look like much, with his family background, not everyone dares to offend him. Feng Polia shook his head and sighed. Young Master Lin was too dumb and didn't understand some things. However, he muttered in his heart, if Lin Wani didn't defend Yu City and went to the Imperial Dynasty, maybe young Master Lin's identity and status would change drastically. Zhao Bufan smiled and looked around. Who else? If you miss this chance, you won't have another chance. As long as you follow me, I will pay the bill tonight. Uproar. Many people were tempted. Many of them were thinking, damn, I already have a sect. Although I wanted to follow you, if I really followed you, I would be betraying my sect and I would die a horrible death. Young Master Zhao, I am willing to work for you. Someone stepped out. It was obvious that he couldn't resist the temptation. What they longed for, to others, was within their reach. How domineering. Lin Fan wanted to shout that he would pay the bill tonight, but he didn't have the ability to do so. Young Master Lin, we have bought everything, so we should leave. Feng Polia said. Lin Fan shook his head and smiled. Don't rush, we will wait. Feng Polia found it weird. When he saw Lin Fan's fiery eyes staring at Zhao Bufan, his heart creaked. Was he thinking don't? His heart couldn't take it. Chapter 208. Young Master Lin, everyone has their own way of life. You can't have bad intentions just because he is like this. Feng Polia pulled Lin Fan and hoped that he could use his sincere words to convince him not to offend more people because of his rash actions. For example, he was low profile and kind. He had friends all over the world. Although he couldn't borrow money from them, he felt that his way of doing things was good. He had been around for so many years and didn't have many enemies. In his words, this was the change of a man after 40. Mature and responsible. At the same time, he respected society. Lin Fan looked at Feng Polia and said helplessly, Why do I feel that you are so timid? I am timid? Feng Polia stared and pointed at himself. This was the funniest sentence he had heard in his life. He really wanted to ask Lin Fan if he knew who he was. Did he know what vicious things he had done in the past? Don't you know that I used to be famous for being ruthless? And that is how it feels. Lin Fan nodded and didn't want to say anything more. But such a combination was good. One was bold and one was timid. When they made decisions, they would have time to calm down and think about what they were going to face next. He admitted that this arrogant Zhao Bufan had a strong family background, but that wasn't a reason for him not to be beaten up. He didn't need to kill him, but he definitely needed to be beaten up. He didn't do that because he saw that he was rich or because he was jealous. That wasn't the case. But because he was so young and relied on his family background to be so arrogant, it would have a huge impact on his future development. So he had the responsibility and obligation to teach him a lesson in case he fell deeper and deeper and walked down the wrong path. Feng Polia was such a shallow person, so how could he understand his good intentions? He didn't understand. Did they understand? Zhao Bufan had 3 followers beside him. They were all really old. They looked like they were at least 50 years old, maybe even older. To be able to reach Master Realm at this age meant that they weren't talented and didn't have many opportunities. Even if they came here, they would probably just take a look. Now that young Master Zhao had jumped out and thrown out such a huge temptation, how could these people tolerate it? However, most of the people there were from the various forces. They were just spectators. Most of them did not fight or cause a ruckus. After all, the Zhao family was indeed very powerful. They could not afford to offend them. Even their sects could not afford to offend them. Feng Polia looked at Zhao Bufan and felt really helpless. Why did he have to do that? Did he know that his high profile attracted someone's attention? But you don't even know it, and you're still exuding the arrogance that only a noble family has the right to exude. He observed the situation around him. Young Master Zhao's strength was not strong. Perhaps he could be described as trash. Logically speaking, with this kind of status, there would definitely be experts protecting him when he went out. But some people were very strange. They didn't need the protection of experts when they went out. They just walked around arrogantly and used their family background or wealth to tempt those people. After a long time, young Master Zhao felt good and left with the 3 people who followed him. Although his actions here made many people feel that he was a little arrogant, this arrogance was not without reason. If they were young masters of the Zhao clan, they might be even more arrogant than young masters of the Zhao clan. "Let's go, let's follow," Lin Fan said. When they were at the entrance, young Master Zhao showed his shocking side once more. Writing an IOU, going to Zhao family to get money, he was just so overbearing and made one feel helpless. In front of a true noble family, the market took a step back and broke the rules. "Young Master Zhao, do you need us to send people to protect you when you leave?" Zhao Bufan mocked. "No, when I go out, I never need anyone to protect me. Or maybe you are worried and want to send people to Zhao family to get money. Are you afraid that I will go back on my word?" "No, definitely not. It is best if you don't, otherwise, you are looking down on my Zhao family." Zhao Bufan smiled and brought his 3 newly recruited brothers out. He couldn't be envious. Lin Fan wanted to do such a thing, but his ability was limited. They might not give him face. In the end, he was still too weak. If he was stronger, then this wouldn't have happened. He was outside. This carriage of riches wasn't his anymore, it was taken by the people from the market. He felt that the riches were used up too quickly. He didn't even warm it up in his hands and it was given away just like that. It really made him feel helpless. "Take it, it is better if you wear it later." Feng Poliu took out 3 masks. He bought them last time and carried them with him. He thought that he wouldn't need them, but who knew that he would really need them today? This thing. Lin Fan was helpless. A mask to cover his head? He actually didn't like to wear masks, but looking at the situation, not wearing a mask would scare Feng Poliu to death. Rong City outskirts. A luxurious carriage slowly traveled on the official path. Young Master Zhao wouldn't stay in Rong City, and had another goal. 3 of his followers drove the carriage, while others rode horses and guarded at the sides. To them, it was good to be able to join the Zhao family boat. Even if Zhao Bufan didn't look like much, he was still the Zhao family young master. As long as they needed him, he would be able to help them raise their cultivation. They had no choice. There were 2 shortcuts to cultivation. One was to join a sect, but that needed time. Sects needed loyalty and they were competitive. One couldn't just do whatever one wanted. The other was to join an aristocratic family. Whether or not their strength could increase represented whether or not their master had more room to be active. So if they wanted to raise their cultivation, young Master Zhao would definitely help. But that would require them to pay a higher price. Not only loyalty, but also dignity, personality, and going against one's wishes. Within the carriage, Zhao Bufan laid there. He held a long pipe in one hand and a small bottle in the other. He opened the cap and poured something into the small hole in the pipe. What fell out from the bottle was golden powder. This was a really precious thing. When one inhaled it, not only would it make one excited, but it would also strengthen one's meridians and physique. The only side effect was that one would get addicted. Comfortable. Zhao Bufan sucked in a deep breath and a comfortable expression appeared on his face. If there were young and beautiful maids to massage his legs, that would be even better. Unfortunately, he didn't like to bring people when he was outside. When he reached the next city, he could find some girls to spend this boring time with him. He picked up the teacup and was about to take a sip when the carriage stopped and the tea splashed on his body. What happened? Young Master Zhao opened the curtains and asked in rage. He couldn't even do such a small thing like driving a carriage, so what else could he do? That really infuriated him. Young Master Zhao, Someone is blocking the way, Qin Tai said warily. Zhao Bufan looked out and noticed that not far away, there were 3 masked men waiting quietly. Their expressions were really unhappy. Young Master Zhao, let us solve this, Qin Tai said. Since he followed young Master Zhao, then naturally he had to perform well. They were all initial master and felt that they were really strong. Zhao Bufan waved his hands impatiently. Solve it quickly, don't let any random person block my carriage. After saying that, young Master Zhao shrunk back into the carriage and continued to enjoy his godlike life. Pung, pung. Very quickly, there was a really intense shaking sound from outside. The shaking was really loud and there was also a really low voice. But to Zhao Bufan, he was really satisfied. These 3 newly recruited fighters were not bad, they were temporarily of some use. However, it wasn't enough to bring them back to Zhao family. But if they were loyal enough and could make him happy, he didn't mind developing them. With Zhao family's ability, it wasn't hard to develop peak Master Realm expert. Very quickly, the movement outside disappeared, and everything became really silent. Is it over? Zhao Bufan laid there lazily and squinted his eyes. Occasionally he would listen to the movement outside. Since it is over, then let's go. The curtains were pulled open. Zhao Bufan turned his head, but suddenly a hand grabbed him. It grabbed his head and dragged him out of the carriage. Let go, you let go. Young Master Zhao hollered in rage. He was the Zhao family young master, especially someone who said that he would pay for everything. Such domineering words, how could he be treated like that? There was a pung. Zhao Bufan fell to the ground, his makeup was a little messy. He stared at the masked man in rage. Who are you? You are actually so bold. I am the Zhao family young master. Do you all want to die? He looked around. The 3 fighters he recruited were all smashed into the deep hole. He didn't know if they were dead or alive, but they were totally useless. How did this happen? Weren't these people Master Realm experts? Even if they weren't his match, they shouldn't have lost so quickly, right? He reported his family name every time. Many people feared Zhao family's position and didn't dare to act rashly. There were even many people who would lick his boot. Young Master Zhao, I know you, I have a basic understanding of your family and position. But I am a little tight today, I hope that young Master Zhao can cooperate. Lin Fan said. Zhao Bufan was stunned and then reacted. He knew who he was and still wanted to take the risk. That only meant one thing, he was at the end of his rope. Actually, we can make a deal. I cherish talents and since you can defeat my guards, it means that you are really strong. Why not follow me? I can give you everything you want. Wealth, women, power, even top techniques, I can get them for you. How about that? Lin Fan smiled. I have already treated you like this and you can still give me good things? Ha! Zhao Bufan laughed. What is that? My Zhao family wants loyalty. Even if you are disrespectful to me, as long as you are loyal, then there is no problem. You can think about it, I think you will choose the best choice. Yes, I have made my choice, Lin Fan said. Zhao Bufan smiled. Okay, I won't worry about this. Help me up. What are you doing? Zhao Bufan panicked. What the F***ck are you doing? Chapter 209. Feng Polia looked at the scenes in front of him and was speechless. He actually didn't know what to say. The high and mighty young Master Zhao was stripped clean, not a single thread was left. As expected from a pampered rich family young master, your skin is white and tender. Even girls might not have skin like yours. Lin Fan sized him up. That invasive gaze caused Zhao Bufan's butt to tighten. He was actually a little afraid. What do you want to do? Zhao Bufan's eyes were filled with terror. He wasn't afraid that Lin Fan would kill him, but he was afraid that Lin Fan would torture his body. In a true aristocratic family, as they focused on matching families, their descendants were all strong. None of them looked ugly, which gave birth to some sick thoughts. For example, just thinking about it made him feel terrified and disgusted. Lin Fan searched his clothes. Apart from finding dozens of golden invitations, there was also a crystal box. A white mist floated up from it. Feng Polia said softly, "We can't use these invitations, they have the Zhao family mark on them. If we use them, we will attract unnecessary problems. Actually, this is a protective measure of the Zhao family." He was knowledgeable and knew things that others didn't. Such invitations could be exchanged for money in the various banks, but there was something special about them. Each strong family would leave a mark on it. It was to prevent their wealth from being stolen or their disciples from being robbed, and they couldn't find the target. Invitations with a special mark were different. As long as one dared to use it, then they would know who you were. "Oh, is that so? That is a waste." Lin Fan was really calm. He looked like someone who wouldn't be moved by money. Actually, he felt really sad. He could see it but couldn't use it. That really made him feel helpless. He then opened the crystal box and a fragrance surged into his face. The pill was golden in color, like it was spitting out a golden light. It was really eye-piercing. "What is this pill?" Lin Fan asked. Zhao Bufan felt pained. It was obvious that it was something really important to him. Feng Polia found it weird. "This is a purple gold dragon essence pill. I heard that you really have to kill a dragon and use its pellet energy to craft it. It is a priceless treasure. I have heard of it, but I have never seen it before." Dragon? Lin Fan found it weird. There were really dragons here? If there were dragons, then the martial arts realm of this world would be a little abnormal. "Can you return this pill to me? I can use other things to trade with you." Zhao Bufan couldn't calm down anymore. This pill was just too important to him. This was a pill that could only be consumed by the direct descendants of the family. Each person could only have one in their lifetime. He had kept it until now so that he could consume it when he reached the peak of the 12th grade of the martial path. At that time, he would be able to perfectly absorb the medicinal energy of the pill and obtain all sorts of wonders. Then, Zhao Bufan looked at Feng Poliu and said, "You know what this pill is, so you definitely aren't a normal person. You should know what kind of existence my Zhao family is. Offending Zhao family won't do you any good. Pass the pill to me and you can take everything else. If not, you will regret it. Even if you kill me, it is useless. My Zhao family's ability isn't something you can imagine." Feng Poliu agreed with what Zhao Bufan said. Zhao family wasn't a normal family and they couldn't be offended. If they killed Zhao Bufan, then things would become complicated. With Zhao family's ability, although it was a little problematic to find who did it, it was definitely possible. Zhao Bufan was furious. If he knew that this would happen, he should have let those people escort him. Such a thing wouldn't have happened. Pung! Just at that moment, Lin Fan stepped on Zhao Bufan's head and then tossed the box to Zhou Zhongmao. "Cousin, this pill is for you." He had the small support system and didn't care about pills. To him, these were just small things. As long as he earned some rage points, then everything else wasn't a problem. When Feng Polia saw Lin Fan toss the pill to the honest Zhou Zhongmao, he was really envious. Oh my God, he should have given it to him. This pill was really useful to him. "Cousin, what about you?" Zhou Zhongmao asked. Lin Fan said, "I don't need it." Although both of them wore masks, the way they called each other was obvious. "Cousin, cousin?" Zhao Bufan remembered it in his heart. He knew that he definitely wouldn't be able to keep these pills. Lin Fan released his leg and squatted down. He was helpless about the rage points that didn't appear. It was obvious that he didn't look at his face, so there were no rage points. "Don't you want to know who I am? Then, I will let you take a look." Lin Fan looked at Zhao Bufan and then slowly took off his mask. Young Master Zhao panicked and shook his head. He closed his eyes and shouted, "No, I won't look. I don't know who you are and I don't want to know who you are. Don't let me see your face." When he faced such a thing, he closed his eyes right away. He knew his identity and status and still wanted to show him his face. It was obvious that he wanted to kill him. No, definitely not, he definitely couldn't. Fong Polia covered his face and didn't want to say anything more. This was a sin. Young Master Lin, what were you thinking? He could swear to the heavens that he had never met such a person in his life. Even if his father was Lin Wani, he couldn't be so stubborn, right? Actually, he was wrong. Not only was Lin Fan stubborn, but he needed rage points. To raise his strength, he didn't fear anything. Even if he was from a rich aristocratic family, he wouldn't be afraid. Look at me, Lin Fan said in a commanding tone. I don't want to take the thing and leave. I will act like I don't know anything. Zhao Bufan lowered his head and touched the ground. With his many years of experience, when he saw his face, he would die. Even if the family would take revenge for him, so what? He was already dead. Lin Fan grabbed Zhao Bufan's head and opened his eyes. Look, remember my face. Remember it forever, don't forget it. What was imprinted in Zhao Bufan's eyes was a young face. Rage points plus 111. Rage points plus 222. Rage points plus 777. At that moment, rage points increased. Young Master Zhao's heart was filled with rage towards Lin Fan. When he saw the real person, the rage exploded out. Very good. Lin Fan smiled in satisfaction. He didn't want to kill this fellow. Although he was arrogant, letting him go might have a different effect. Zhao Bufan was furious, but he still wanted to close his eyes and roll his eyes. He wanted to act like he didn't see his face. He really didn't see his face. I hope you can understand my goal. I'm doing this to you because I want you to understand how dangerous the world is. Family background and status are unreliable. Only when you're strong can you be arrogant and do whatever you want. But you still don't understand. But after this matter, I think you should understand. Lin Fan used strength and pressed Zhao Bufan's face to the ground. Remember, I am doing this to let you grow. If you are angry, then I will be happy. Come, be angrier, okay? Rage points plus 999. It exploded. Zhao Bufan's rage points exploded. He had never faced such a situation before. Damn. How hateful. As a true rich family young master, he was surrounded by everyone. When had he ever received such treatment? But now, he didn't dare to fight back. Lin Fan showed him face and abused him. He was just a thin line between life and death. Suddenly, he realized that Lin Fan released his head. Was he going to send him on his way? For some reason. At that moment, Zhao Bufan suddenly calmed down. He didn't beg for mercy or use his family status to gain some hope. A cold wind blew. Zhao Bufan shuddered. A rustling sound spread out from not far away. He raised his head and noticed that Lin Fan was stripping the clothes of the people he called so perverted? Fong Polia looked at Zhao Bufan. He hesitated and didn't know what to do. To kill or not to kill. Lin Fan had 3 secret techniques in his hands. They were all master realm. Of course, they couldn't compare to what he bought, but it was still a gain. As expected of the golden belt of murder and arson, this was the fastest way to get rich. Before Lin Fan left, he looked at Zhao Bufan and said, Young Master Zhao, remember my face. I hope that you will always think about me. I look forward to the next time we meet. What will you look like? Go. Then, Lin Fan hid into the darkness. Fong Polia was filled with disbelief. He let him go just like that? Didn't he kill him? At least killing him would reduce a lot of problems. Zhou Zhongmao's hands were itchy. He couldn't help but want to clear this hidden danger. But since cousin wanted to let him go, he could only bear with it. Actually, the best plan is to kill him. Fong Polia said. Letting him go is the best plan. Letting him go can reduce a lot of unnecessary problems. Lin Fan smiled. He could understand the thoughts of a rich family young master. He definitely wouldn't spread such a thing, especially to someone who liked to act cool. If others found out, what would they think? Wouldn't he lose all his face? Even if danger struck, it would be young Master Zhao who sent people to find him. Zhao family wouldn't personally appear. So, did they really think that he was dumb? It ended just like that? Zhao Bufan looked around in disbelief. Did he really let him go? Or would there be a sudden counterattack? That shouldn't be possible. He continued to lay on the ground and wait. There was no movement at all and everything was safe. Then, Zhao Bufan was furious. Damn it, I will definitely find you. Zhao Bufan gritted his teeth. Rage burned in his heart. He was naked and it affected his image. He picked up the clothes on the ground. Damn. His clothes were ripped and he couldn't wear them at all. He walked in front of the three of them and picked up their clothes. They were in a similar situation but they were better than his. He bore with the dirty clothes and slowly wore them. Chapter 210. I am not dead yet? Qin Tai opened his eyes and felt like his bones were about to fall apart. Before he fainted, he only remembered that Lin Fan punched him to the ground and he instantly lost consciousness. To him, it was just too terrifying. How could there be such a strong person? Although he was old, he was once a tyrant in a certain place. People gave him the title of unparalleled Iron Fist. He relied on his iron fists to sweep hundreds of miles and was invincible. It was really cold. He lowered his head and saw that he was totally naked. The fur in front of his chest swayed in the wind. What was going on? Who was it that took off his clothes and did something outrageous when he was unconscious? What kind of world was this? They didn't even let off a middle-aged man. How could they be so evil? Zhang Mu and the other person woke up. They coughed and were badly injured. However, that wasn't important. What was important was that they realized that they were naked and their clothes were ripped off. That masked person was so terrifying. They had no way to fight back at all. Young Master Zhao, the clothes you are wearing are mine. Qin Tai noticed that young Master Zhao's clothes were familiar. He looked closely and realized that it was his clothes. Zhao Bufan coughed. That thief defeated you and I used my family's secret technique to force him back. As he was too strong, my clothes were ripped, so I took yours. Do you have any objections? Naturally, he wouldn't say that his clothes were ripped and he had no clothes to wear, so he could only wear yours. Sometimes when one was tortured, one had to act cool. No. Qin Tai shook his head. However, it felt weird to not wear clothes. Scoff. Zhao Bufan said unhappily, I found you to solve some small matters for me, but I didn't expect that I would need to personally attack. I am really disappointed. Forget it, I didn't have much hope for you. Leave Rong City and bring you back to Zhao family to train you. Yes. The three of them lowered their heads. They just became young Master Zhao's men and faced such a thing. Zhao Bufan acted like he was really calm and swallowed his tears. His heart was filled with sadness. What he couldn't forget was the purple gold dragon essence pill. He wanted to wait until he reached grade 12 to consume it and absorb the dragon essence power to become the strongest master. Who knew? He couldn't take it. The more he thought about it, the angrier he got. Damn it, I will definitely find you. Rage points plus 333 Chengdu, Li Mansion. Cousin, you should take this pill. I don't need it. Zhou Zhongmao pushed the pill in front of his cousin. Although his cousin gave him such a good pill, he couldn't bear to use it. He still hoped that his cousin could use it. Young Master Lin, your cousin is right. You should consume this purple gold dragon essence pill. This is a magical pill and the foundation of Zhao family. Each direct descendant will consume it and it can change one's body and meridians to reach the strongest master realm. This is a treasure that others can't even dream of. Feng Poliu said. He was envious, jealous, and hateful. Who would have thought that young Master Zhao would actually have such a precious treasure on him that he had not used? If those people who came to the market had known that young Master Zhao had an extremely precious pill like the violet gold dragon essence pill on him, they probably wouldn't be the only ones trying to rob him. The temptation was too huge and covered the risk. It was enough to make one go crazy. Lin Fan smiled. I don't need it. Cousin, you should take it. My father opened up your meridians and left you with hidden injuries. Since this pill is so amazing, it will definitely help you recover. I don't want my cousin to be a person with flaws. He really didn't need the pill. As long as he had rage points, he could raise it. It was simple and there were no side effects. Especially when he stacked cultivation techniques. He felt like he wasn't a human anymore. It was hard to describe that feeling, but it felt really good. Feng Polia gave Lin Fan a thumbs up. Respect, I really respect you. Young Master Lin, I really respect you. I have never seen someone give such an expensive thing to someone else. Those I saw were people who killed one another for treasures. Although Lin Fan spent 100 silver to hire him as a helper of Martial Path Mountain. But he wanted to leave. Naturally, 100 silver couldn't tempt him. However, for some reason, this young Master Lin who liked to cause trouble and didn't have a brain gave off an aura that made one want to explore. He wanted to see how far young Master Lin would go. Lin Fan said casually, just a pill, I don't care much about it. However, do you think there really are dragons in this world? Yes, but they are very rare. Based on what I know, only Zhao family knows where dragons exist. Feng Polia said. This wasn't a secret. Many aristocratic families and sects knew about Zhao family's secret. Moreover, the purple gold dragon essence pill was a top pill. Many aristocratic families and sects hoped to buy it from Zhao family. However, Zhao family didn't sell it and there was nowhere to find it. His luck was just too good. It was so good that it was about to go against the heavens. Lin Fan thought about it. Interesting, but he didn't know what kind of dragon it was. Cousin, quickly consume it. We will protect you. Lin Fan said. Feng Polia said, actually, it is best to consume it when you are grade 12. However, in case anything happens, consuming it now is also a choice. At least Zhao family won't be able to find it. Zhou Zhongmao looked at his cousin. Seeing him nod his head, he didn't hesitate and consumed the pill. A golden pill entered his stomach and he waited for a shocking change. The original cousin's calm expression suddenly changed. He sat cross-legged and closed his eyes tightly. Indistinctly, there was a golden light shining from his belly button. Then, it rose abruptly like a golden dragon spiraling up, straight into his brain. The dragon roared. This pill is interesting, Lin Fan said. This was the first time Feng Polia saw someone consume the purple gold dragon essence pill in front of him. Naturally, he looked on seriously. At the same time, he sensed the changes in Zhou Zhongmao's body. Young Master Lin, be careful in case anything happens, Feng Polia said. Taking any top-notch elixir was not safe. This purple gold dragon essence pill was not the kind of elixir that would make one invincible in the world after consuming it. However, its miraculous effects were very miraculous. Anyway, as far as he knew, there were many miraculous effects. There was also a small chance of it turning into a dragon. That was truly amazing. Out of the Zhao family peak experts, there was one person who had the ability to turn into a dragon after consuming the pill. He grew into a true expert and was much stronger than people of the same cultivation. Cousin frowned. There was a mist formed from internal energy floating around and it was getting thicker and thicker. But Cousin's expression was like he was in pain. Green veins circled around, like many giant dragons were attached to his skin, like they could break out at any moment. This is expanding the meridians. The purple gold dragon essence pill is really amazing, its effects are really terrifying. Feng Polia said. Are you jealous? Lin Fan asked. Aren't you talking nonsense? Feng Polia rolled his eyes. Who wasn't jealous? Only he was willing to give it to his cousin. As the Insect Valley flute, naturally, he had consumed some good pills, but he hadn't consumed the purple gold dragon essence pill. He wanted to try. Suddenly, something happened. Cousin's skin started to dry up. It happened really quickly, such that one couldn't react at all. Not good, your cousin's internal strength is dissipating like something is absorbing it. Let's inject internal strength into him. Feng Poliu said solemnly. Lin Fan was shocked. He didn't hesitate, sitting on cousin's shoulder and internal strength surged in. When Feng Poliu placed his hand on it, he released it. It actually needs the same internal strength, otherwise, his body will reject it. I will do it, you just watch from the side. Lin Fan cultivated the demon enforcing heart scripture and had the same type of internal strength as cousin. When the internal strength entered cousin's body, he noticed that there was a strong attraction force striking him. What is going on with my cousin? Lin Fan asked. Feng Polia thought about it for a moment. I am not sure, but I feel like something huge is happening. Look, there are fish scales on your cousin's wrist. Lin Fan looked over. It was indeed a scale, but what the hell was this fish scale? Do you know how to look? These are dragon scales. You said dragon transformation. Is my cousin transforming into a dragon? Feng Polia frowned. That shouldn't be possible. If it was so easy, then Zhao family wouldn't only have one or two. Even if your cousin is strong, his luck wouldn't be so good. Also, when your internal strength runs out, you have to let go, otherwise you will be sucked dry. To Feng Poliu, this was the first time he personally witnessed someone consume a purple gold dragon essence pill. As for what would happen, he really wasn't sure. But he knew about the rumors of dragon transformation. However, he remembered that it was really hard, basically a 1 in 10,000 chance. It was even harder than 1 in 10,000. Lin Fan saw that cousin was slowly calming down and heaved a sigh of relief. As for the problem of internal strength running out, that was a good question, it basically didn't exist. After a long while, cousin's dry skin slowly recovered. Not a loss, this really wasn't a loss. Lin Fan was overjoyed. He didn't expect that this pill would allow his cousin to turn into a dragon. If he were to consume it, he would probably just taste like a rather decent chocolate candy. When cousin's internal strength slowly calmed down, Lin Fan let go. He didn't look tired at all, like everything was normal. Your internal strength. Feng Polia was stunned. One could even say that his mouth was agape. However, he seemed to understand why Zhao family had so many people who could turn into dragons. If the dragon transformation required a steady flow of internal energy, then it would be impossible. Not many people would be able to withstand it. But at the same time, he was thinking about one thing. How did the Zhao family members who had dragon transformation manage to survive? 1. Just at that moment, with cousin at the center, internal strength spread out. Zhou Zhongmao's cultivation instantly rose, reaching initial grade 10. The internal strength he gave off was much stronger than those at the peak of martial path grade 10. Chapter 211. Cousin. Zhou Zhongmao opened his eyes with a smile on his face. I seem to have become stronger. In the future, if cousin meets any enemies, I will be able to crush them easily. Lin Fan smiled. No problem, I will leave it to you in the future. How is it? Do you feel different? Like transforming or something? A thoughtful expression appeared on Zhou Zhongmao's simple and honest face. Cousin, does this count? Instantly, cousin's eyes changed, turning into golden dragon eyes. These weren't eyes that a human could have. Amazing, these are dragon eyes! Lin Fan exclaimed. This was the first time Feng Polia saw such a situation. Damn, his luck was too good, he turned into a dragon just like that? If the Zhao clan were to find out about this, they would probably want to die. Moreover, he had heard that dragonization was divided into different parts. Some would dragonize their arms, some would dragonize their feet, some would dragonize their skin, and so on. There were many types, and he was not sure about the specifics. In any case, to him, being able to dragonize was a sign of strength. This was something that he couldn't even envy. "Cousin, is there anything special like an ability?" Lin Fan asked. Zhou Zhongmao scratched his head. "Cousin, I have some ability, take a look." Just at that moment, Cousin's dragon eyes shone a weak golden light. Poochie! An invisible shockwave spread out. Although there weren't any changes, Lin Fan realized that there was a certain aura pressing down on his body. "Dragon aura?" Lin Fan muttered. That was a new word. "Young Master Lin, that is a decent move. Dragon aura is suitable." The aura that he gave off could crush a martial path grade 9 expert. Even people of the same realm would be greatly suppressed. "I didn't expect the purple gold dragon essence pill to have such strength. Do you regret not consuming it yourself?" Feng Polia smiled and asked. He looked really calm, but deep down, he was shocked. Lin Fan looked at Feng Poliu and said, "Your words are wrong. Don't use the word regret on me and my cousin. My cousin never regretted what he did for me. I gave him things, even if it is the best thing, I won't regret it. Forget it, you won't be able to imagine the relationship between me and my cousin." Feng Polia was helpless. He said that you were fat and you really panted. Lin Fan patted his cousin's shoulder. "Cousin, go back and rest well. If you feel anything wrong, tell me right away. Don't think about it yourself." "Cousin, I will continue to cultivate. I feel like my body is filled with power. Martial Path Grade 10 isn't my end, I can continue to improve," Zhou Zhongmao said. Feng Polia's eyes turned red. Oh my god! Such a great opportunity was given to this blockhead. He really couldn't understand Lin Fan. He had no idea what gave him the confidence to give up such a rare opportunity. Inside the house, Lin Fan got such a huge opportunity for cousin. He felt really good. Although he didn't know how strong dragon transformation was, from what Feng Polia said, it was really rare. Even Zhao family didn't have many. Not bad, not bad. He checked the small support system. Rage points, 33842. This period of wandering was not bad. He didn't waste any time and just added a point. Constitution increased by 370 to 380. Physique, 380, Middle Master. This wasn't like before where each increase would be a huge realm. Now that he broke through to Master Realm, he could only slowly increase it. For normal people to break through to Master Realm, techniques weren't a problem. The key was the Governor and Conception Meridians. The Governor and Conception Meridians sounded simple, but it was actually really tough. It involved the Yin and Yang Ocean. However, he had the small support system. As long as he had enough rage points, everything was fine. Increase internal strength. Internal strength, 380, Middle Master. Just this increase consumed 20,000 rage points. The consumption of dual cultivation was huge, but he felt that it was worth it. If he didn't have any outstanding areas, how could he suppress people of the same realm? He still had some rage points that he didn't touch. His 2 external cultivation techniques didn't improve, and he still didn't reach the basic. As for the techniques that he got from the few people, although they were Master Realm techniques, they weren't good enough. Even if he cultivated them, he would just waste rage points. The next day, the sky was bright. Old Master Li personally knocked on the door. Since the kid was here, naturally, he had to receive him well. Even if his father, Brother Lin, offended King Wudong, he didn't look down on him. He was definitely a good elder. Courtyard. Uncle, sorry for disturbing you. Lin Fan cupped his fists and thanked him. Old Master Li waved his hand and smiled. What is nephew saying? How can it be considered disturbing? Uncle is very happy that nephew can stay here. Ha! Lin Fan smiled. Oh right, did young Master Wang come here for something? If there are any problems, you can tell me to do it. I am also thanking you for your hospitality. Old Masterly said, It isn't much. He came to propose. You know that my daughter and you are fated but not fated. When we returned to Rong City, I don't know what that young Master Wang was thinking, but he kept pestering me to make me agree. Lin Fan nodded his head and then said, Uncle, I think that you shouldn't agree. Young Master Wang is really amazing in terms of prostitute. That day in Yu City, he was brought to a brothel by Yuan family young master and only came out the next day. I heard that he called many beautiful girls and his methods were really fresh. News of that spread throughout Yu City. Old Masterly was shocked. Uncle, are you shocked? Actually, it isn't that bad. I heard that a few girls in Yu City's brothels told others that young Master Wang has many pimples and there is a weird smell. I don't know if he contracted some weird disease. Uncle, don't say that I said that. I think you only have one daughter, so you can't push her into the fire pit. Lin Fan said softly like it was true. Old Masterly was shocked. It was obvious that he was filled with disbelief. Still okay. Masterly patted his chest as if he was glad that he had made a decision. My dear nephew, you don't know this, but when I was young, I was a good friend of the daughter of a sect. After thinking about it, I decided to send Xiao to my friend's side to cultivate. It is good that uncle has such a method, Lin Fan replied. Just at that moment, Wang Yunfei came. Speak of the devil, and he really came. To Wang Yunfei, he was really anxious. There was a problem down there, and he was unable to get up. To him, this was like a bolt from the blue. It was something that he couldn't accept. However, the key problem was that he had to hide this matter. Based on normal situations, he definitely wouldn't be able to hide it. He definitely couldn't hide it, but when he heard from the grapevine that Master Li was going to send Li Jixio to some sect to cultivate, he suddenly had an idea. That was to marry Li Jixio. He said, Jixio, cultivation is the most important. We don't have to be too anxious. Go to the sect and cultivate, I will wait for you in Rong City. What a perfect thing. Even if other people found out, they wouldn't think that he had any problems. Instead, he would be able to gain a good reputation. However, when he saw the person standing beside Old Masterly, Wang Yunfei's expression changed. What was going on? Those few fellows didn't help him last night? Wang Yunfei thought too simply of things. The few people he found were all top experts in the world. They were good at fighting and threatening. As for other high-end things, there was nothing he could do. Uncle Li. Wang Yunfei walked in front of Old Masterly and cupped his fists. Old Masterly nodded. Kid, why did you come so early today? Uncle, I've come early today to invite Jixio to the cruise. Wang Yunfei smiled. However, he was still wary of Lin Fan. Wasn't this fellow from Yu City? Why did he come to Rong City? Moreover, it seemed like he was staying at the Li family. This wasn't a good sign. There was a problem, there was definitely a problem. Young Master Wang, I spoke to you yesterday, and you left in a hurry. I am really regretful about that, Lin Fan said. Wang Yunfei found it weird. Brother, we haven't met before, right? Lin Fan smiled. You indeed haven't, but I am familiar with young Master Wang. Young Master Wang's name is like thunder to my ears. No, it is just an undeserved reputation, Wang Yunfei said humbly. Even if Lin Fan said those words, he didn't dare to be careless. Lin Fan said, How can it be an undeserved reputation? Young Master Wang killed everyone in Yu City's Hongxiu Pavilion, killing all the girls there. News of that has spread throughout Yu City. Who doesn't respect young Master Wang? F***ck your mother. Wang Yunfei was furious. He thought that Lin Fan would say something human, but who knew that he didn't even say anything human? What the hell was he talking about? He said it yesterday and he still said it today. Did he really think that he was easy to bully? Rage points plus 222. Wang Yunfei's expression wasn't good as he said calmly, "Brother, did you remember wrongly? I have never been to such places." He then looked towards Old Master Li. "Uncle Li, who is this person? Why did he say such humiliating words to me? Does he really think that I am such a person? Do you want to force me to swear?" Lin Fan smiled. "Okay, you can swear. F***ck your mother." Rage points plus 333. Wang Yunfei took in a deep breath and stared at Lin Fan in rage. "You came here just to find trouble with me. How did I offend you? Why did you have to talk about me going to brothels? Or did that bastard Yuan Tianchu betray me, and after I left, he would spread the news about me going to brothels? That had to be the case. Apart from him, who else would be so free to spout such nonsense?" Yuan Tianchu, who was far away on Marshall Path Mountain, was the innocent scapegoat. To Old Master Li, he felt that this matter wasn't right. Nephew Lin was so angry at young Master Wang. Was he jealous? Was he unhappy that young Master Wang came to propose? My daughter's charm is so great? As such, Old Master Li couldn't help but think about it. Chapter 212. Wang Yunfei was so furious that he wanted to press Lin Fan to the ground and beat him up. "Were you even a human? Did I offend you or did I screw your whole family? We just met a few times and you kept grabbing onto my dirt. Are you afraid that people don't know? Is it that I can't fight or is it that you are too arrogant? Okay, stop arguing. Nephew Wang, my Xiu'er will head to the sect to cultivate in a few days. Marriage isn't a rush. With your character and status, you will definitely be able to find someone better." Old Master Li persuaded. When he saw how furious Wang Yunfei was, it was obvious that he believed Lin Fan's words. It seemed like Wang Yunfei was a god that descended from the heavens. His combat strength was unparalleled, and he contracted an illness that he shouldn't have contracted. Wang Yunfei opened his mouth and wanted to say something, but he didn't know what to say. He was rejecting him. For some reason, he pushed all the blame to Lin Fan. It had to be that dog. If he didn't say all that, how would things have turned out like this? Then, the way he looked at Lin Fan had a huge change. Grievance, rage, and also helplessness. "Uncle Li, since that is the case, then I will take my leave." Wang Yunfei cupped his fist. When he left, he stared at Lin Fan furiously like he was saying that he would remember him. Very quickly, Wang Yunfei left in a dejected manner. He hated Lin Fan, and at the same time, he hated Yuan Tianchu as well. That bastard's mouth was really loose. He was definitely waiting for him to leave to spread the news of him visiting brothels. How despicable. Don't think that I will let you off. When the time comes, I will teach you a lesson. Back courtyard. Suelon ran really quickly and came in front of Little Mississippi. She panted, Little Miss, that Lin family young master and Wang family young master quarreled." Li Jixio was wiping her spearhead. When she heard that, she asked curiously, "Why did they quarrel?" Suelon said, "I don't know. Young Master Wang came to propose and met young Master Lin. The two of them quarreled. Little Miss, do you think that young Master Lin doesn't want to let you off, so he is jealous?" To her, it was very possible. After all, although their young miss liked to play with knives and spears, had a bad temper, and was a little impatient, she was still very good in other aspects. Li Jixio's hands stopped moving. She was actually a little flustered. She looked down on Wang Yunfei because she knew his character wasn't good. As for young Master Lin, she was under a lot of pressure. The feeling that the Lin family gave her was terrifying and her heart couldn't take it. So, when her father agreed to let her go to the sect to cultivate, she was really excited and had long thrown everything else to the back of her mind. To her, going to the sect to cultivate was the most important thing. Suelon, don't make wild guesses. Things shouldn't be what you think. Li Jixio said. Is that so? I don't think so. Suelon muttered softly. That was indeed true. She sneaked a peek and really saw the two of them going head to head. Uncle Lee, I have been away for a long time, so I shall not disturb you any further. I am here to say goodbye to you. Lin Fan cupped his fist. His harvest in Chengdu was not bad, and there was nothing else for him to do even if he continued to stay. He was lazy to even bother about Wang Yunfei. He fought to the death and used such vicious words to insult him. This bit of rage points wasn't enough at all. Kid, why don't you stay for a few more days? Old Master Li asked, wanting him to stay. From a deeper level, he noticed that the kid was not bad, unlike when he was in the Lin family. No, I have something to do, so I won't disturb you, Lin Fan said. Old Master Li saw that Lin Fan had decided to leave, so he didn't try to stop him. What a waste, some things were just fated but not fated. It was his fault for being so decisive and leaving the Lin family. After all, King Wudong's name was really terrifying. When Lin Fan and the others left, they actually bumped into Li Jixio at the entrance. Suelon was traumatized by Lin Fan. She retreated in fear. Her mind was filled with scenes from the Lin manor. It was just so terrifying. Lin Fan smiled and nodded towards Li Jixio as a greeting. He then left without even turning his head. Outside. Young Master Lin, that girl isn't good enough for you? I think she is not bad. Feng Poliu said. Lin Fan said calmly, of course. To you, she is not bad. Actually, to me, she is just average. With a different status and identity, naturally, one's eyes are different too. Damn. Feng Poliu kept silent. He suddenly realized that it was really dangerous to talk to Lin Fan. Without even batting an eyelid, he allowed Lin Fan to act cool. That was really terrifying. Cousin, is there anything wrong with your body? Lin Fan asked. Zhou Zhongmao shook his head. No, everything is normal. That's good. Lin Fan nodded his head and heaved a sigh of relief. No matter what, the pill that cousin consumed was the Zhao family's purple gold dragon essence pill. They didn't have much understanding of it, so if something happened, it would be problematic. Feng Poliu said enviously, he is fine. To your cousin, this is a great fortune. But I suggest that you don't let him dragon transform in front of everyone. If Zhao family finds out, the outcome will be catastrophic. At least before he reaches a certain level of strength, don't let others know. You don't need to say that, I know. Zhao family, Imperial Dynasty, I really want to take a look. Lin Fan said. After learning that there were so many interesting places outside, he was tempted. Feng Poliu rolled his eyes. What other place didn't he want to go? He could tell that wherever Lin Fan went, he would definitely offend some sort of power there. Let's not talk about some small family. Just 9 bug gang, he had offended them. There was also Imperial Dynasty's Zhao family, he had offended half of them. He wasn't old and his cultivation wasn't high, but the people he offended weren't simple. It wasn't easy for him to live until now. The 3 of them rode out of Rong City. After Wang Yunfei returned, he was furious. He had never suffered such humiliation before. I told you to call people, so what did you call? Now that they are all gone, what use do you have? Wang Yunfei hollered at the servant. He said that he would find some experts to teach them a lesson. Now, the experts he found were all gone. They didn't even make a single splash. Young master, those people are definitely experts. Since that surnamed Lin person is still fine, that means that they have met with misfortune. The servant cursed those bastards to death in his heart. Trash, really trash, they couldn't even deal with 3 people. In the past, they even bragged to him that they were invincible within 100 miles. Now, it seemed like they were just bragging, causing him to be scolded by the young master. Wang Yunfei was furious. Trash, what can you do with just you? Wang Yunfei stared. He had no choice. It seemed like he could only find the helpers in the race and ask them to help him regain some face. Outside the city, Lin Fan and the others led their horses and walked on the official path. Young Master Lin, you should be back to Martial Path Mountain now, right? Feng Polio asked. He had been out for so long and caused such a huge commotion. If he continued, he might not have a good ending. Lin Fan smiled. Actually, I was thinking about not returning so quickly. But forget it, I have been out for a period of time, so I should head back and take a look. Feng Polio heaved a sigh of relief. He was really afraid that young Master Lin would have other thoughts. That would make things a little complicated. Walk, walk. They slowly reached a place where there was no one. Stop following us, come out. Lin Fan and the others stopped. Not long after they left the city, someone followed them. At the start, they thought that it was just a passerby, but then they realized that the target was them. Pung pung. The sound of leaves shaking spread out. So, the few of you are experts. A person stepped on the leaves and floated in the air. It was an old man who wore a white shirt. His beard was long and he gave off a celestial aura. Every move he made was filled with a really strong martial path aura. Who are you? Lin Fan looked at the person who came. He looked decent. Even if he didn't have cultivation, with his aura of an expert, he could bluff many people. This old man here is Yuan Shan, a helper of the Wang family. The three of you have offended my young master and you're leaving just like that? Aren't you looking down on my Wang family a little too much? Yuan Shan said calmly. He then landed gently on the ground without making any sound. He observed all sorts of signs. He could see that the old man was really strong and was a true expert. Lin Fan looked at Feng Polio and Feng Polio looked back at him. Both of them had a helpless look in their eyes. They were already thinking of leaving. What did they want to do? Okay, then how does your young master want you to deal with me? Lin Fan asked. Yuan Shan said, my young master is kind and doesn't want me to kill you. I just need to smash your mouths and then break your legs. Lin Fan said, are you going or should I? Feng Polio said, you go, I don't like to bully the old. Moreover, it isn't easy for him. He is already so old and his cultivation is only middle master. That is enough to show how much hardship he went through when he was young to reach such a stage. Rage points plus 333. Yuan Shan heard the belittling words of these scoundrels. He was so angry that his face turned red. Arrogant, truly arrogant. How dare you look down on me? It seems like if I don't teach you a lesson today, you won't know how high the sky is and how deep the earth is. He was really furious. What was he even saying? He didn't like to bully old people? His cultivation was only middle master? He used the word only well, really well. Lin Fan walked towards Yuan Shan with a helpless look on his face. Originally, we were about to leave and I didn't take your young master's matter to heart. After all, it's just a small matter. I didn't expect him to send someone to stop me. In other words, he is officially declaring war on me? The moment he said that, a terrifying aura exploded out from Lin Fan's body. Yuan Shan's expression changed abruptly. His pupils constricted as if something was amiss. Chapter 213. Yuan Shan was wary and felt like something wasn't right. Energy wrapped around Lin Fan's body. His body gave off a sharp aura. Very good, Wang Yunfei sent you to find me. Actually, he didn't want you to help him vent his anger but to send you to die. Don't worry, I won't kill you. After all, your aura is not bad. What? Yuan Shan was shocked. He didn't understand what Lin Fan meant. At that moment, he noticed that Lin Fan disappeared in front of him, and a terrifying energy struck him. That feeling actually made him feel somewhat at a loss. Instantly, a figure appeared in front of Yuan Shan. In Yuan Shan's eyes, the palm that was spread open was surrounded by extremely terrifying internal energy. No pung, pa, hong long. A simple sound but it had a different rhythm. This was the suppression of an expert. There weren't many special effects and there wasn't much nonsense. The ground shook and the ripples weren't huge, but it was different. Actually, I don't like to beat up old men, but I haven't seen many as arrogant as you. Lin Fan looked down from above. In front of him was a 12-centimeter deep hole. There was a sizzling sound around the hole. Lightning was swimming around and the ground was charred. The old man in the hole, his snow-white shirt was dyed black. His body was covered in a thick white mist. His snow-white beard was curled up so badly that it was almost burnt. Lin Fan heaved a sigh of relief. He opened his fingers and grabbed the old man. The old man closed his eyes. His limbs hung down and he didn't move at all. The old man couldn't believe what he had just seen. Too terrifying. Or maybe it all happened too quickly such that he couldn't react at all. Wang family helper is a little amazing. It isn't easy for him to reach Master Realm, Lin Fan said. He looked towards Rong City, which was getting smaller and smaller. He felt like it wasn't good to leave just like that. Feng Polia said, "You are too quick. He is a Master Realm expert and you killed him instantly. It would affect his mental state." I had no choice, he was too weak. It was too difficult to suppress my strength to the same level. Lin Fan shook his head and said, Feng Polia was helpless. What now? Leave? Impossible. I, Lin Fan, never find trouble with people, but this Wang family is a little arrogant to actually send people to stop me. Let's return to Rong City and teach them a lesson, Lin Fan said. He then tossed the old man to his cousin, and the three of them headed towards Rong City. Rong City, Wang Mansion. Wang Yunfei sat down and waited for the consecrator to return. He trusted his own helper. Needless to say, he was terrifyingly strong. Master Realm, do you understand? You don't understand? That was a realm that exceeded martial path grade 12. It was a shocking change. No matter if it was in Chengdu or other places, he was not a weak expert. Thinking about the face of that surnamed Lin, Wang Yunfei's anger soared. No one had ever dared to be so presumptuous in front of him. But this Lin guy just had to pop out. He was so angry that his liver was about to explode. Young master, if Helper Yuan were to make a move, it would definitely be incredible, the servant at the side said. The treatment that Consecrator Yuan received in the Wang family was incredible. Even the young master of the Wang family did not dare to offend him. Moreover, the Wang family had to find ways to help Consecrator Yuan get some heavenly treasures or martial arts manuals. Thinking about it, when did Consecrator Yuan come to the Wang family? Thinking about it, it had been over a decade. At that time, Consecrator Yuan was just a peak martial path grade 12 expert. In these 10 years, the Wang family spent money and effort to finally raise him to Master Realm. This caused Wang family's position in Rong City to soar. Therefore, it was worth it to spend this time. Wang Yunfei looked at the servant. Aren't you talking nonsense? How can Consecrator Yuan attack so casually? He trusted Consecrator Yuan a lot. To him, as long as Consecrator Yuan attacked, then there was nothing he couldn't solve. Pung! The Wang mansion gate was kicked open. Shortly after, the guard at the gate flew in. The Wang mansion people didn't know what to do. Why would anyone come here to make trouble in broad daylight? When they looked out, they noticed that one of them was carrying a person. Wasn't that Consecrator Yuan? Lin Fan looked at the stunned servant and said, I didn't come to find you. Tell your young master Wang to come out and talk to me. At that moment, many guards surged over from all around. They looked at them warily and then hollered in rage. They attacked those people who dared to cause trouble. Take them down. Pung! Pung! One figure after another flew into the sky. To the guards, they didn't know what was going on. Before they even got close, they were struck by a power and flew up. The guards floated in the air. Were they flying? It felt good, the air was really fresh. Pung! Pung! Not long later, the guards fell from the sky, causing them to cry out for their parent. The pain was unbearable. Lin Fan didn't kill them. He wasn't a killing maniac. Actually, he was a really friendly person. These guards didn't have high cultivations. Most of them were only grade 2 or 3. They were just trying to make a living. When the Wang family manager saw those scenes, his face turned ashen white. How would he dare to look on? He immediately ran into the distance. Reading room. Old master, not good, something happened. The Wang family manager shouted in panic. He ran really quickly. He was really frightened. It was broad daylight now. For someone to attack the Wang family in broad daylight, how terrifying was this matter? Recently, the Wang family didn't offend anyone. Why are you panicking? What happened? Old Master Wang placed down the book in his hand and frowned. The Wang family manager said, Old Master, 3 people came here to cause trouble and injured many people. And? Cause trouble? Where is Helper Yuan? Old Master Wang asked. Their Wang family had helpers in charge. Normally, when such things happened, they would be the ones to solve it. When he mentioned Helper Yuan, the Wang family manager's face turned ashen white. He stuttered when he spoke. Old Master, Helper Yuan is held in their hands. We don't know if he is dead or alive. Shock. Old Master Wang, who was originally calm, stood up when he heard that. He said solemnly, Is what you said true? Steward Wang said, It's absolutely true. Lin Fan and the other 2 checked out the situation around them. They did not want to kill their way into the Wang family single-handedly. But to be bullied to such an extent, how could they endure it? Don't worry, I am not interested in all of you. Call your young master out to see me, I have to talk to him. Lin Fan said. If they really started a massacre with the current situation, no one would be able to stand here. P.S. Go out to eat, I have a meal. That's all for tonight's update. I am sorry, brothers. Chapter 214. The servants of the Wang Manor all hid far away, looking at the guards who fell to the ground in shock. They didn't expect that the guards, who they thought were very powerful in the past, would be defeated so easily. They didn't even have a chance to resist. That speed was just too quick. So quick that one couldn't react at all. Did you inform your young master? Lin Fan asked. He wasn't interested in the guards who were lying on the ground and crying out. He did have rage points, but it was just too little. It was so little that it was terrifying. As expected, the rage of the weak was nothing to the strong. It didn't even cause any ripples in his heart. Feng Poli sighed. These people were sick in the head. They could have offended anyone, but they had to offend this fellow. Didn't they know that people would die if they messed around like that? However, he could see that this fellow showed mercy to the guards. However, he didn't understand why he would be so vicious to 9 Bug Gang, directly leveling their division to the point where he didn't even leave a single chicken or dog alive. The servants who were hiding didn't dare to speak. Who dared to speak at such a time? The outcome would be terrifying. At that moment, footsteps spread out from the distance. The Wang family manager followed behind and said softly, Old Master, these people are dangerous, we can't be careless. Old Master Wang didn't say anything. How could he not know whether or not they were dangerous? As for being careless, that was even more impossible. They had already fought their way over, which meant that they didn't care about the Wang family at all. Why did the 3 of you come to my Wang family? Or did I offend the 3 of you? Old Master Wang walked over and cupped his fists as he asked. Right away, he saw Yuan Shan who was being held in his hands. His heart was filled with pain. This was their Wang family helper, but now he was beaten up like a dead dog. His heart was cold and he actually felt an indescribable sadness. You are the Wang family head? Lin Fan asked. From the surface, his aura was outstanding, and one look and one knew that he wasn't a normal person. Right? Why did the 3 of you come to my Wang family and hurt my helper? Old Master Wang asked. Even if the helper wasn't his match, he didn't panic. This was the demeanor of the old master. Lin Fan smiled and said, "You are a funny person. Don't you know why your family's consecrator is in my hands?" To old Master Wang, he really had no idea at all. If he really had an idea, he wouldn't be talking nonsense here. Wait a minute. Old Master Wang's heart creaked. That's right, why was the offering in their hands? Didn't he usually stay in the mansion? Could it be that he went out to stir up trouble and provoked an iron plate, and was found by others? Forget it. I'm too lazy to talk to an old man like you. Hurry up and get your son out. I have to have a good chat with him. Lin Fan waved his hand, too lazy to say anything else. Originally, he was prepared to leave Chengdu, but he was attracted back by Wang Yunfei. He had to admit that this fellow had the constitution of attracting hatred. Old Master Wang frowned. He was here to find his son. What exactly happened inside? Could it be that the unfilial son had a conflict with the other party and had asked Consecrator Yuan to teach the other party a lesson? In the end, Consecrator Yuan was no match for the other party and the other party came looking for trouble? Friend, if it is a conflict between my son and you, I am willing to apologize. Why don't we just let it go? Old Master Wang said. Lin Fan smiled. You are dreaming. Hurry up and call your son out. Don't say such useless things. Originally, we were preparing to leave Chengdu, but your son sent people to stop us. He actually wanted to smash my mouth and break my leg. If it wasn't for the fact that I'm stronger, your son might have succeeded. Old Master Wang understood. As expected, it was exactly as he thought. As expected, that unfilial kid caused trouble outside. Back courtyard. Wang Yunfei was still waiting for the good news from Consecrator Yuan. However, after waiting for so long, there was no news at all. His efficiency was just too slow. Suddenly, a servant charged over. Young master, not good. Someone came to the Wang family and said that he wants to meet you. The guards couldn't stop him. What? Wang Yunfei stood up. Rage surged into the heavens. Recently, weird things happened one after another. A fellow from a small city dared to offend him. Now, someone actually came to the Wang family to find trouble with him. Do you really think that I, Wang Yunfei, am a vegetarian? He didn't think about anything and walked furiously towards the front courtyard. He wanted to see who was so bold to come to the Wang family to find trouble with him. He was just asking to die. The servant wanted to say something, but he didn't expect that young master didn't listen to him at all. He just charged over angrily. Ahead. Old Master Wang was still talking to Lin Fan and hoped to solve this matter. What he didn't expect was that Lin Fan didn't want to talk at all and wanted to see his son. Even Consecrator Yuan wasn't his match. That was enough to show how strong he was. The three of you, is there really no way to discuss this? Old Master Wang asked. Just let your son come out. There is nothing else to discuss. Lin Fan said. He felt that his temper was really good. Till now, he didn't attack. At that moment, a furious voice spread out from the distance. Which bastard is blind to dare to cause trouble in my Wang family? Does he really think that I am easy to bully? Wang Yunfei charged over furiously. Recently, his mental state was on the verge of exploding. Why did everyone want to step on his head? When old Master Wang heard Wang Yunfei's voice, he had a bad feeling. Stupid thing, didn't he see what was going on? Unfilial kid, what nonsense are you saying? Old Master Wang chided. Wang Yunfei came in rage. After being scolded by his father, he was actually stunned. What was going on? Father, why were you scolding me? Now that outsiders came to cause trouble in our Wang family, it was normal for me to be so fierce. When he saw Lin Fan, he was stunned. Damn, why was he here? Didn't Consecrator Yuan go to block him? Why did he appear here? When he saw the person in Lin Fan's hand, Wang Yunfei's eyes opened wide like he had seen a ghost. Oh my God! What happened? How did Consecrator Yuan become like that? In his heart, Consecrator Yuan was a master realm expert. The main character is here, he is looking for you. When Lin Fan saw Wang Yunfei, he smiled. He tossed Yuan Shan to his feet. You sent people to block me, but why didn't you send someone stronger? Wang Yunfei stared blankly at Consecrator Yuan, who was lying at his feet. His bruised and swollen face seemed to indicate that Consecrator Yuan had suffered a terrible beating. Lin Fan walked towards Wang Yunfei. You said that you wanted to smash my mouth and break my legs. I remember all of that in my heart. Wang Yunfei saw Lin Fan walk over, but he didn't move. He opened his mouth and looked at Consecrator Yuan and then at Lin Fan. Wait! Old Master Wang walked forwards and wanted to stop what was going to happen. He sensed that something huge was about to happen. It was obvious that Lin Fan wouldn't let his son go so easily. Stop, it has nothing to do with you. Lin Fan pushed Old Master Wang aside and then stood in front of Wang Yunfei. I don't want your life. After all, you didn't want me to die. But you want to break my legs, so this matter isn't so easy to solve. You! Wang Yunfei was about to speak, but he suffered a slap. Gotcha! Wang Yunfei's face was about to change shape. Large amounts of fresh blood seeped out from the corner of his mouth. His teeth broke and fell to the ground. A short moment of pain struck him. Wang Yunfei covered his mouth with his hands and cried out in pain. It was so painful, it hurt so much. Fresh blood flowed from his fingers and dripped onto the ground. Lin Fan reached out and helped Wang Yunfei up. If you want to be beaten, then stand properly. You sent people to stop me, so you should have been mentally prepared. Old Master Wang saw that his son's mouth was covered in blood and his heart hurt. He stared at Lin Fan in rage. You. Rage points plus 555. Lin Fan said, Old Master Wang, just watch. If you attack, then it will be a matter between your Wang family and me. It won't just be a matter between your son and me. The moment those words were said, Old Master Wang was stunned. Were all young people so overbearing now? Cousin, let me do such a small thing. Zhou Zhongmao wanted to help him. How could he let his cousin do such a small thing? Let me do it. I am afraid that you will kill him with one slap, Lin Fan said. If cousin really did it, just that slap alone would have caused Wang Yunfei's head to explode. He wasn't joking. He was speaking the truth. Old Master, what should we do? We can't watch young Master get beaten up. The Wang family manager said softly. He panicked. These people were just too lawless. They actually came to beat up their young master. This matter couldn't be stopped and would definitely spread out. When that happened, would the Wang family still have any face? Old Master Wang's face was terrifyingly dark and sunken. He was thinking about how to solve this matter. Since they suppressed Helper Yuan, that meant that they were really strong. With their current strength, they couldn't fight them at all. Even if they went to find helpers, they wouldn't have enough time. Just as he was thinking about all these things, an even sadder scream spread out. Wang Yunfei fell to the ground. His legs were already deformed. Lin Fan had broken them. His head was covered in sweat. He wanted to grab his legs, but the intense pain caused him to roll on the ground. Normal people wouldn't be able to take the broken bones. Son. Old Master Wang was shocked. He headed up to check on the situation and then looked at Lin Fan. You are too much. Lin Fan said calmly with his arms by his side. Okay, I have done what I wanted to do. I will treat your son however he wants to treat me. It is normal. Also, I am the U-City Lin family young master. If you want to take revenge, I welcome you. The moment he said that, he turned around and left. To him, the Wang family was like a no-man's land. No one could stop him. The Wang family servants looked on in shock as the three of them left. All of them stood rooted to the spot with their mouths agape. They were really frightened. That was just too terrifying. Chapter 2:15. What are you looking at? Quickly find a doctor. Old Master Wang's eyes were red as he hollered. He didn't expect such a thing to happen. The servants were terrified and got to work right away. They felt like the sky was collapsing. At that moment, no one dared to say a single word. This matter couldn't be hidden, and very quickly it spread out in Rong City. The Wang family's young master was beaten up and his legs were broken. No matter which servant spread the news, it had already become the biggest news in Rong City. Old Master Li was stunned by Lin Fan's actions. He didn't expect that Lin Fan would actually do such a thing after leaving Rong City. He should have totally offended the Wang family, and there was basically no chance of reconciliation. He knew that old Master Wang would definitely come to find him. As expected, not long later, old Master Wang came furiously. He came with rage. I can't find that kid, but I can find you, old Master Li. That kid stayed in your house before. Towards that, old Master Li felt that he was innocent. He didn't offend anyone and didn't do anything, so why did he find him? He wasn't the one who told him to beat up his son. Old Master Wang was furious, and said that he was going to find that kid in front of old Master Li to teach him a lesson. He directly asked old Master Li where this person came from. Even if he was the emperor, he would take revenge for his son. Old Master Li was helpless and directly said that he was Yu City Lin family Lin Wani's son. You should know about Lin Wani, right? He was the one who caused a ruckus decades ago and didn't go to school. Old Master Wang was furious and didn't care so much. He directly said that he wanted to head to Yu City to find the Lin family for an explanation. But very quickly, he came to his senses. After that, he silently left as if nothing had happened. He didn't even say a word. It was like he understood something. Like he knew what kind of person Lin Wani was. In the forest. How is it? Do you feel that the fun in the city is far from what Jiang City can compare to? Feng Polio asked. He noticed that this kid basically took revenge. As long as he offended someone, he would fight to the death. Anyway, he didn't think that this kid would pick on the weak. It's alright, but it'll be more troublesome. What Lin Fan said was the truth. A big city had its benefits, but with his personality, he would definitely not fit in with a big city, which would lead to some conflict. Although Jiang City was not a big place, it was closer to home. After being away for so long, he felt a little homesick. Father probably didn't expect that his strength had reached Master Realm. Of course, his current realm was not very high. He was still not very satisfied with this. He would return to his hometown to take a look when he broke through to the Great Grandmaster realm. If he wanted to give a surprise, he naturally had to give a bigger one. Feng Polia said, "It is late, let's find a place to rest. When the sky turns bright, we will continue on our way." The 9-headed bug stood on Lin Fan's shoulder, its 9 heads dozing off. Jiuyao felt that it was quite pitiful. It had been locked up in a cage all this time and had not had the chance to see the outside world. Now that it was out, it definitely wanted to take a good breath of fresh air. Not long after. "Cousin, there is a broken temple in front. Let's rest there tonight," Cousin said. Feng Polia frowned. "Weird, why is there a broken temple here?" "Who cares, let's head in first." To Lin Fan, he didn't care about those things. It was good enough to have a place to stay, so why would he be so picky? A broken temple in the forest was really weird. There was also a giant tree growing in the temple, the roof was pushed open. Lin Fan and the others got off their horses and tied the rope to the tree. They pushed open the dusty and broken door. Weeds were all over the place, and there was a corrosive smell in the air. "Be careful, I feel like something isn't right," Feng Polia reminded. A broken temple in the forest, no matter how he thought about it, it was impossible. Lin Fan walked in front of the extinguished candle. He rubbed his fingers and lit it up. Someone should have lived here before, the candle looks really new. The broken temple was really empty. A stone statue from who knew what era stood there. It was covered in spider webs, and there were fist-sized spiders crawling on it. Zhou Zhongmao cleaned up a clean area and found some wood to start a fire. Cousin, have you cleaned up? Lin Fan sat on the ground and looked around. He was a little helpless. As a rich family young master, he actually lived in such a broken place. If not for his good mentality, he would have collapsed long ago. Not long later, sounds spread from outside like the sound of horse hooves. There were many of them, and there should be people here. Kachi. Someone pushed open the door. When the person saw that there were people in the temple, his expression changed. He smiled and nodded his head as a greeting. You don't mind us entering, right? Lin Fan said, This place has no owner and we are just passing by. Why would we mind? Thank you, brother. The person who spoke was a guy. He looked ordinary, but he gave off an aura. He didn't look like a normal person. The guy walked out and was probably going to report the situation. Not long later, the guy brought a few people in. A girl and 6 guys. The girl was dressed in white and had an outstanding aura. Her expression was cold and her eyes were really bright. As for the 6 guys, although they hid well, their auras weren't weak. They should be experts. Their gazes stopped on Lin Fan and the others for a few seconds before moving away and locking onto Nine Demon. After all, such a weird being was rare. They should have treated the girl as their leader. The 6 of them protected her in the middle and ensured that there were no gaps. 3 brothers, I'm Wu Zihao. May I know where you're from? The man who spoke was the one who had asked if they minded. Although his appearance was very ordinary, his eyes exuded a kind of confidence. I came out from Rong City and passed this place. Who knew that there would be a temple where I could rest for a short while? Lin Fan smiled and said. Wu Zihao smiled and then looked towards the 9-headed bug. Brother, this is? Lin Fan said, There is no need to call me brother. I am Lin Fan, this is my cousin Zhou Zhongmao, he is Feng San. Feng Polia snatched and didn't say his real name. As for this, it is his pet, a mutated bug. Apart from having 9 heads, there is nothing special about it. What a good act! To be able to say that it had 9 heads and that there was nothing special about it, how amazing! Actually, to Feng Poliu, he was really afraid that Lin Fan would say that the bug was 9 bug gang's treasure, and that he snatched it. Feng Poliu asked, All of you don't look like normal people, where are you heading to? Wu Zihao smiled, To Zhua City to visit family. Lin Fan didn't say much, letting Feng Poliu brag to him. Anyway, none of them spoke the truth, so it wasn't fun to talk about it. What the F***ck, visiting relatives? Who was he kidding? How could one visit family like that? Wu Zihao didn't talk much with Feng Poliu. He returned to the side and spoke softly to his companions. His companions seemed to have heard something. They looked towards Lin Fan and the others curiously and warily. Feng Poliu said softly, Young Master Lin, I feel like they aren't normal people. As for where they are from, I really can't see it. I suggest we continue, there is no need to stick together with them. Lin Fan laid down, If you want to go, then go yourself. I am too lazy to move now. He looked towards the girl and noticed that she was looking at him. She blinked like she was teasing him. Rage points plus 111. Although the girl didn't show any disgust, she still provided some rage points. At the same time, she turned her head and didn't look at Lin Fan. Lin Fan found it boring. Why didn't she look at him more? Feng Poliu sighed. He knew that it was useless to ask. What opinions? If this kid could listen to him, then it would be great. Haze. Feng Poliu was helpless and didn't know what to say. He looked at the burning bonfire in front of him and was really engrossed. Perhaps when people were bored, they could watch Ant's moving house with relish. The broken temple was really silent. Both sides didn't speak. Those people were all sitting cross-legged like they were resting or recovering internal strength, maintaining their best state at all times. Pili Pala. The sound of wood being burned exploded out. The red flames lit up the surrounding area red. Pung pung. The wind rose up outside. The broken temple's door was blown really loudly. Who knew how long passed? With a shio, something struck from outside. Lin Fan opened his eyes and saw an iron needle break through the air. The target was the 6 guys and 1 girl. Kung. Wu Zihao pulled out his sword, his aura exploding as he struck the needle down. I told you that something would definitely happen, Feng Poliu said helplessly. He had seen more things than Lin Fan had eaten. From the moment these people came in, he had carefully observed them. There were many small tears on their clothes. Obviously, they had experienced a battle, and a rather difficult one at that. So what if something happens? It has nothing to do with us. Lin Fan continued to lay there. He didn't care much, as long as they didn't bully him. It was impossible for him to help out when he saw injustice. Moreover, that girl didn't give him any face at all. He just took a look and she provided 111 rage points. Only people who had their heads pinched would help. Protect little Mississippi, Wu Zihao roared in a low voice before rushing over with his sword in hand. He slammed open the door of the temple, and the sounds of intense fighting could be heard. Poochie! Instantly, the broken walls of the temple exploded. Numerous people struck and surrounded the 5 guys and 1 girl. They didn't say a word and attacked. The thick inner force was like a flowing river, continuously battering against the temple, causing it to show signs of collapsing. These people seemed to know their target. They ignored Lin Fan and acted like they didn't see anything. P.S. I recommend a book, Lord of the Monster Demons. This was written by my other little. If you are interested, go take a look and give your kids some motivation. Chapter 216. Good, beautiful. But Lin Fan suddenly hollered, clapping and praising. The people who were originally fighting were startled by this voice, and were momentarily stunned. Don't be stunned, continue, I am just looking. Lin Fan saw that they were stunned and waved his hands to tell them to continue. They didn't need to worry about him. Rage points plus 333. Rage points plus 333. Rage points plus 444. They were really amazing, and each of them provided Lin Fan with large amounts of rage points. What are you doing? Don't you know you scared me? Feng Poliu was frightened by Lin Fan. It wasn't that his actions were explosive, but that Lin Fan's sudden voice was really terrifying. I told you that you are such a coward. Look at how good it is now, a lonely night with people performing for you. How blissful, how delightful. Lin Fan said. Although these people weren't strong, one had to say that it was tiring for them to fight. However, the way they fought was really beautiful. Lin Fan was really interested. Good, damn. To those people, they really wanted to kill this fellow. They were killing people, so what was he doing? What was so good about it? Was he not afraid of them at all? Did he treat them like monkeys? Did you see what kind of background they had? Lin Fan asked. Feng Poliu shook his head. I didn't. Lin Fan was a little disappointed. I thought you knew. Feng Poliu laughed so hard that he was about to lose his breath. Do you really think I am a god? There are so many powers in the world and so many martial paths. How would I be able to recognize them? That was the truth. No matter how strong the person was, he wouldn't dare to say that he could recognize all the martial paths. Cousin, their cultivation is not bad, they are all at martial path grade 11 and 12. Lin Fan said. These guys weren't young, and it was not bad for them to have such cultivation. Zhou Zhongmao looked at them and didn't care much about them. Martial path grade 11 and 12 were not bad, but he felt like he could hammer them to death. Pung! Suddenly, a figure flew in from the outside. That person was Wu Zihao. He was in a miserable state, with wounds all over his body. His left shoulder seemed to have been stabbed by a sharp weapon, and his bones could be seen. Wu Zihao was lying on the ground in pain. Miss, be careful. Old thief Chen is here. He then looked at Lin Fan with a look of shock. Brother Lin, hurry up and leave. Don't stay here any longer. Lin Fan had thought that Wu Zihao was very strong. After all, those who dared to be the first to rush out were all very strong. But who would have thought that he would be the first to bleed? This was something he hadn't expected. Suddenly, a savage laughter rang out. Today, all of you will die here. Immediately after, a figure attacked, the axe in his hand bursting with red light, directly chopping towards Wu Zihao. There was despair in Wu Zihao's eyes, but there was absolutely no fear. He did not loosen his grip on his sword. Kid, go and die! Qin Rong hollered in rage. He waved the axe in his hand and slashed down. Bang! Wu Zihao was already in despair. He didn't even have the strength to resist. He thought that he would definitely die. However, he found that the pain did not come. Perhaps it was because it was too painful that he had lost consciousness. Very soon, a sound spread into his ears. When he opened his eyes, he looked at the scenes in front of him in disbelief. Don't move. If you move, you will die. Lin Fan reached out and blocked in front of Wu Zihao. His palm grabbed the axe. This was mixed energy broken jade hand. If he cleansed his stats, it would reduce a lot of problems. Qin Rong was astonished. He knew how powerful his axe was. Even if it was steel, it could split it in half. But Lin Fan just grabbed it in his hand. You! Qin Rong retracted his axe and retreated. He looked at Lin Fan warily. Who are you? Lin Fan said calmly. Actually, I'm not anyone. You guys fight amongst yourselves and I'm just watching. I didn't even think about doing anything. But I'm just a cheap person. If someone is nice to me, I'll treat him as a real friend. Originally, I didn't have any objections when you chopped him to death. Really, I didn't have any objections at all. But who knew that he couldn't even protect his own life and even wanted me to leave? Why don't you stop chopping him? You can find someone else. He was serious when he said those words. He could kill the others, but he temporarily couldn't kill this person. But to Qin Rong, it sounded like a provocation. Rage points plus 999 killing intent boiled. Qin Rong was filled with killing intent towards Lin Fan. Although he didn't know who he was, he suddenly popped out and stopped him. That meant that he didn't care about him at all. Kid, do you really want to be a busybody? Qin Rong asked. Although they didn't fight much, he could see that the kid in front of him wasn't easy to deal with. He was so young and actually had such cultivation. His background was definitely extraordinary. Lin Fan looked at Qin Rong. Do you not understand human language? When did I say that I wanted to be a busybody? Just don't chop him. Can you chop someone else? I don't believe you. Naturally, Qin Rong didn't believe Lin Fan's words. He said, I am Yuanzhou Qin family's head teacher, Qin Rong. With your strength, your status is definitely high. Maybe your family's seniors know about Yuanzhou Qin family. It is better not to cause trouble. Consider it giving Qin family face. In the future, Qin family will thank you. When one met an expert, one would report one's background first. Lin Fan was a little helpless. He didn't believe his words. He didn't lie. He really didn't lie. The people around all retreated behind Qin Rong. Naturally, they had to be wary when someone blocked their path. The 6 guys beside the girl were all injured to various degrees. They thought that they were dead, but who knew that someone would save them and give them a chance to breathe? Is there something wrong with your head? I told you so clearly, so why are you wasting time? Lin Fan was speechless. Was this fellow a fool? Didn't he say it clearly? Don't chop him, you can chop the rest, it has nothing to do with me. Why did it seem like he didn't understand what he was saying? Rage points plus 999, arrogant kid, I said so much to you, do you really think that I am afraid of you? Qin Rong hollered in rage, internal strength exploded out from his body. The red axe light was like a blazing sun as it slashed towards Lin Fan. The aura was too strong. This axe seemed to slice open the air, pulling out two long tails. Pung! Lin Fan raised his hand. His palm changed color and became really firm. He directly grabbed the axe. Don't you understand what I'm saying? Or did you think that I was willing to say such nonsense to you? You just have to make me angry. Lin Fan hollered. He clenched his fingers, and with a kacha, cracks appeared on the snow-white axe like it could be shattered at any moment. Internal strength increased, physique swelled. Dual cultivation, when the two powers exploded out, it would give rise to a terrifying aura. Demon Ape Fist. Lin Fan punched out, and the ape demon that appeared behind him roared and punched out as well. Chen Rong was shocked. Before the fist landed on his body, the aura that spread out caused his clothes to swell up. A terrifying power spread towards him. Pung! Their fists clashed. A low and heavy sound spread out. To Lin Fan, it was really normal and it wasn't a big deal. But to Chen Rong, his expression changed like he was filled with disbelief. He took a step back, and when he stepped down, the ground cracked. The hand that grabbed the axe was trembling. Bang! Chen Rong retreated dozens of steps. His blood and qi were boiling, and his hands were trembling. That exchange of blows just now made him realize that the brat in front of him was very strong, terrifyingly strong. His opponent's inner energy was too dense. His strength was truly too great. He was actually somewhat unable to withstand it. Not bad. To be able to block it, it means that you have some ability. Lin Fan played with the axe and praised. It was indeed not bad. Wu Zihao stared at Lin Fan, dumbfounded. He had never thought that the person who stayed with him in the broken temple would be so strong. Who are you? Chen Chong asked. He was the head teacher of Chen family, Peak Master Realm. As long as he had enough luck, he could step into Grandmaster Realm at any moment. At this level, there would be earth-shattering changes. Lin Fan smiled. I told you at the start, but you didn't believe me and wanted to fight me. What's the point of asking now? Or do you think you can leave here alive? Feng Polia's head hurt. What does this have to do with you? Why must you stand up for others? Sometimes, enemies were just randomly found by meddling in other people's business. There were many battles in the world every day, and death was a common occurrence. There was simply no way to deal with it. If he was Lin Fan, he would leave right away. Chen Chong looked at Lin Fan warily. There weren't many people who could snatch his weapon from his hands. Even in Yuanzhou, there weren't many who could do it so easily. Leave. Chen Chong retreated and then hollered, Kid, I remember you. You won't have a good ending if you go against Chen family. You saved them today, you are asking for trouble for yourself. You want to leave? Lin Fan laughed coldly. Instantly, internal strength boiled. Thick lightning wrapped around his palms, internal strength exploded out like it was free. The strength of the lightning became more and more terrifying. All of this was formed from internal strength. Pilai Pala. Lightning boiled, and the surrounding trees withered from the lightning. This. Feng Poliu could sense that Lin Fan's internal strength had reached an extreme, even exceeding what a Master Realm should have. If this was used on other Master Realm experts, just one move would have sucked dry the internal strength in their body. Go! Lin Fan hollered, pressing down with his palms. The internal strength that he had accumulated for a long time exploded out. The originally quiet night was suddenly covered by lightning. Hong Long. Needless to say, the small fries didn't even cry out before they were covered by the lightning, turning into corpses that only gave off black smoke. The effects of internal strength were too beautiful. It lit up half of the land. Chapter 217. Chen Chong felt as if he had seen a ghost. Just as he was about to react, the thunderbolt formed from inner force struck his back. With a boom, he fell to the ground. The clothes on his back were burnt and black smoke rose from his body. So what if he was a peak Master Realm expert? Feels good. Lin Fan felt really good. That feeling didn't need to be said. When internal strength exploded out, he felt like he was in control of everything. Cousin, go see if he is dead or not. If not, send him on his way. Lin Fan said. Zhou Zhongmao was willing to do such things for his cousin. He walked in front of Chen Chong and didn't even take a look. He raised his leg and landed. With a purring, his head exploded. He didn't want to know whether or not he was dead. Anyways, if his head was smashed, he definitely wouldn't be able to live. He then searched the corpse and there was nothing on him. TSK. Zhou Zhongmao was disappointed. These people didn't bring anything out, so his cousin didn't gain anything at all. Brother Lin, thank you. Wu Zihao was really grateful. If not for Brother Lin helping, the outcome would have been catastrophic. Lin Fan looked at him and said, You don't have to thank me. This is actually the first time we've met. You reminded me to leave when we first met, which means that you're not bad. I just saved you. The others have nothing to do with me. He hated being used by people. Especially when one looked like they hated each other so much, he didn't think about interfering. What did he say? No matter what Yuan Zhou family, they didn't offend him, so he couldn't take the initiative to deal with them. As for Chen Chong, he could only blame himself for being unlucky. Wu Zihao understood what Lin Fan meant and still thanked him. He then looked at the girl. Little miss, are you okay? I am okay. The girl shook her head. It was obvious that she was shocked by what happened. However, when she looked at Lin Fan, her eyes shone with a bit of hope. What a practical person. Just now when Lin Fan looked at her, he gave her some rage point. Now that Lin Fan used his strongest strength, there was actually a change. That was just too practical. Lin Fan returned to his original spot. Do you think Yuan Zhou family is strong? Feng Polia said, I'm not sure, I didn't come into contact with Yuan Zhou family. However, to have a peak master as their teacher, they shouldn't be weak. They should be a strong family here. Forget it. It has nothing to do with me anyway. He was the one who wanted to find trouble with me. What can he blame me for? Lin Fan replied. You were the one who beat him to death, yet you said that it had nothing to do with you. That was impressive enough. At this moment, Wu Zihao walked over. Brother Lin, my family's young miss wants to talk to you, is that okay? Lin Fan looked at the girl. She forced out a smile, much better than before. In Lin Fan's eyes, this was just a shallow woman. A forced smile appeared on his face. There was no need to think too much about what was going to happen next. Even an idiot could guess what the other party was going to do. Something must have happened and he needed help. This broken temple isn't that big. If you have something to say, just say it. I can hear you. Lin Fan said. Now this broken temple was on the verge of collapsing, like it could collapse at any moment. The woman said, Young Master Lin, I'm the daughter of the Yuan Prefecture's Tao clan. But due to certain reasons, the Chun clan caused trouble for my Tao clan. In the end, I was the only one who escaped with them. I want to ask young Master Lin to help me take revenge. So long as I take revenge, I'm willing to give a miraculous pill my Tao clan obtained to young Master Lin. Lin Fan was expressionless. As expected, it was such a small matter. Then, who did you want to find in Zhua City? Lin Fan asked. Tao Ling said, My aunt is married in Zhua City. I am heading there to find her. Lin Fan smiled. Forget it, then you should find your aunt. I don't have time to worry about such things. Moreover, pills are useless to me. For just one pill, I want to wipe out an aristocratic family whose strength I don't even know. That is too risky. I want to live for a few more days. He didn't want to be a sharp blade in other people's hands. Recently, he had offended too many enemies, so it was best to slow down. 9 Bug Gang was the biggest threat now. Once his strength increased, he would definitely head there to take revenge. Tao Ling wasn't dejected. It was obvious that she had expected this. Wu Zihao said, "Brother Lin, my little miss faced a huge change, please understand. It is okay. Since your little miss has relatives in Zhua City, then let's find them. As for revenge, we still have to rely on ourselves," Lin Fan said. When Feng Polia heard that, he heaved a sigh of relief. He finally didn't go and find trouble. Luckily. Very quickly. The sky was bright. Wu Zihao said goodbye to Lin Fan. They had to rush and try to reach Zhua City in a month. Only then would they be safe. As for the current route, it was impossible. Chen family wouldn't let them off and would continue to send people to chase. "Brother Lin, thank you for saving me. We will meet again if we are fated." Wu Zihao cupped his fists. "Have a safe trip." Lin Fan waved his hands. Wu Zihao and the others left, slowly disappearing. One couldn't see their back. "Young Master Lin, it is best if we don't offend them. Although Master Realm is strong, there are always stronger people. Who knows, we might face people that even I can't fight," Feng Polia said. He was telling Lin Fan about his experience, hoping that it would understand. I know. Aren't you afraid that I will cause trouble? Don't worry, I have caused enough trouble recently. I don't have the energy to cause more enemies, at least before I solve a certain problem." Lin Fan wanted to wipe out 9 Bug Gang as his goal. Who knew whether or not 9 Bug Gang exploded? Wiping out a division was a form of venting a little. Feng Polia rolled his eyes. This fellow really made him worry. Who knew how Lin Wani took it? However, he had been thinking about a problem. When he first met this kid, he didn't notice how strong he was. How did he become so strong now? That was just too unrealistic. Even if he was sick in the head, he shouldn't be so sick in the head, right? 3 people and 1 bug rode leisurely on horses and wandered in the wilderness. That night, Yu City, Lin Wani stood in the courtyard and looked into the sky. Who knew what he was thinking about? Without Lin Fan and the Lin family, it was much colder. "Old Master, the weather is cold." Old Wu placed a coat on Lin Wani's body. "Brother Wu, what do you think that unfilial kid is doing? He has left home for so long, is he able to adapt outside?" Lin Wani asked. No matter what, even if he made him angry, he still thought about how that unfilial kid was doing. Old Wu stood beside Lin Wani and missed young Master. After all, he had left for so long, and to young Master who had never traveled far, this was a tough matter. Old Master, believe in young Master. With his intelligence, he is definitely doing well. Suddenly, in the distance, a bright light appeared like it was spitting out from somewhere. It actually lit up the sky. Shortly after, the light dissipated and everything calmed down once more. Lin Wani's expression was solemn as he rose into the air. He reached out and a fake mountain in the courtyard was smashed. A streak of light swept out. It was a dark red halberd. "Old Master." Old Wu wanted to follow but Lin Wani stopped him. "Take charge of Yu City and don't go anywhere." At that moment, Lin Wani turned into a streak of light and disappeared from the world. At the border, there were cracks that opened up and the light came from within. The light pulled out many threads like it was about to squeeze out from within. In the sky, a black dot landed. Lin Wani was wearing pajamas but that didn't affect his domineering aura. He landed from above and the end of the halberd smashed onto the ground. Pung! With the halberd as the center, the ground cracked and many cracks appeared. Lin Wani stared at the cracks that seemed like they could breathe. His expression became really solemn. A terrifying aura exploded from his body. This aura had condensed into a physical form, causing the space around to show signs of collapsing. This strong aura struck the cracks like he was showing off to the living beings within that if they dared to come out, they would die. 20 years ago I was able to force all of you back. 20 years later, I will kill all of you, Lin Wani said fiercely. His voice turned into a sound wave that struck out, causing the cracks to become unstable. Not long later, the cracks slowly closed. Lin Wani stood there and didn't move at all. Even when the cracks disappeared, he didn't move at all. He stood there until the sky turned bright. "Old Master, are you okay?" Old Wu came from U City and asked. "I am okay, I didn't expect it to be faster than I expected. Brother Wu, take care of U City. I need to defend here and can't go anywhere." Lin Wani said. "Old Master, I will guard it." Old Wu said. Lin Wani shook his head. "No, many people returned alive. 20 years have passed and they have become stronger. You are still not their match." Old Wu's expression was solemn. He knew what Old Master was worried about. Those who returned alive were all top experts. He had witnessed that battle that didn't cause much of a commotion. It wasn't that it was a small matter, but that the commoners didn't come into contact with it. When they did, it meant that the defense line had collapsed and they would die. "Old Master, are they plotting to tear open the cracks and pretend to come out?" "Actually, they are trying to wear down our willpower." Old Wu was worried. Lin Wani said in disdain, "Wear down willpower? If my willpower was so easy to wear down, then 20 years ago, why would I need to wait until now? As long as I am here, they can forget about breaking through U City's defense line." King Wudong came to recruit him. He was filled with disdain. That was a kid's game, and he didn't care about it at all. There were more important things waiting for him. How would he have time to mess around with them? Chapter 218. This, when Lin Fan and the others passed a village, they noticed that it was in ruins. There were corpses all around and many women who weren't dressed properly. It was obvious that they were tortured when they were alive. "Cousin, could it be that they encountered bandits?" Zhou Zhongmao frowned. Although he liked to kill his enemies, he normally wouldn't attack normal people. That was Zhou Zhongmao's bottom line. Feng Poliu couldn't bear to look at that. Okay, the world is just like that. Every moment, tragic things happen. We are just passers-by, don't bother too much. Why are you so cold? Lin Fan looked at Feng Poliu. In the past, I noticed that you were timid, but now that you face such a thing, you can say it so easily. Do you have any compassion at all? Feng Poliu said. You make it sound like you have compassion. When you kill, you are more vicious than anyone else. That division was wiped out just like that, you didn't show any mercy at all. Nonsense, how can that be the same? I know the difference between bad people and normal people. Lin Fan retorted. Today, Feng Poliu was going to fight him head-on. Feng Poliu seemed to recall something. His tone became a little depressed. What good or bad, it is just my own definition. To me, there are no good or bad people in this world. Everything is centered around me, we just want to live. Why? You can say what you have in your heart, maybe I can help you analyze it. Lin Fan looked at Feng Poliu's expression and knew that he had a story. He wanted to hear it. Suddenly, in the quiet village, only the sound of wood creaking from the intense flames could be heard. But just now they heard light coughing. There is someone, Lin Fan said. Feng Poliu was wary. A gray internal strength spread out. Bug controlling technique controlled the bugs and sensed the movement in the ruins. There. Feng Poliu pointed at the collapsed ruins and said. Zhou Zhongmao walked forwards, ignoring the burning wood. He grabbed and flipped it open. Many pieces of wood were flipped open and a path was cleared out. Very quickly, the scenes in front of them shocked Lin Fan and Feng Poliu. 2 corpses were lying on the ground. These 2 corpses had been burnt black. Their faces could be vaguely seen, but they were also burnt beyond recognition. Zhou Zhongmao pushed the 2 corpses aside and saw a wooden plank on the ground. The coughing came from under the plank. Just as his cousin lifted the wooden board, a sharp dagger suddenly appeared in the dark space and attacked him. It was very slow. To a true expert, the speed of the stab was no different from a snail crawling. Zhou Zhongmao did not retaliate. Instead, he took a few steps back and said, "Come out." Lin Fan and Feng Poliu exchanged glances with one another. It was obvious that they didn't expect that someone was still alive. Soon, from the dark cellar, a pair of tender hands covered in black ash reached out. Child, Lin Fan didn't expect it to be a child. She was a young girl, probably 8 or 9 years old. His hair was long, but it was curled at the ends, obviously burnt. The exposed skin was red, as if it had been burned. The skin was broken, and there were many blisters. Her face was covered in black ash, and her eyes were filled with terror. "She is lucky to be able to live," Feng Poliu said. Lin Fan said, "Kid, what happened here? Who did this?" The little girl didn't say anything, she just looked at Lin Fan and the others. Suddenly, when the little girl saw the 2 blackened corpses, tears flowed down from the corner of her eyes. Feng Poliu said, "Let's go, it is enough that we saved her. What happens next depends on her. Whether she lives or dies depends on whether or not the heavens give her food. We have caused so much trouble, who knows when we will face an enemy we can't defeat." Feng Poliu pulled the reins and wanted to leave, but he noticed that Lin Fan didn't move at all. He was staring at the little girl. He admitted that the little girl was pitiful. But there were many pitiful people in the world, and there was no way to pity all of them. "Young Master Lin, I never thought that you would have a saint's heart," Feng Poliu said. Lin Fan said, "Is that so? I don't feel it, I just feel like there are some things that I need to do. If you say that I am kind, then I admit that I am a kind person, am I right?" Feng Poliu was speechless and didn't know how to reply to that question. If you were kind, then there would be no bad people in the world. "Little brat, do you want to leave with me?" Lin Fan looked at her and waited for her choice. The little girl looked at Lin Fan. She then looked at the once beautiful village that had been reduced to such ruins. Who knew how much damage this little girl's heart had suffered? She nodded. "Okay, get on his horse, I will bring you away from here," Lin Fan said. He pulled the reins and walked forward slowly. "Oi, why do you have to get on my horse?" Feng Poliu shouted. What was going on? You wanted to bring her away, and now you want to place her on my horse? That wasn't a joke. Lin Fan said, "I will give you a chance to be kind. Since you say that I am a saint, then I will give you a chance to perform." Feng Poliu smiled bitterly and then pulled the little brat up. "Sit properly, don't fall off." When Feng Poliu's palm landed on the little brat's shoulder, the pain on her body actually lessened. It felt really cool and not as painful as before. Feng Poliu's eyelids were filled with helplessness. This made him think back to the time in Insect Valley. They were all adopted by Master, and each of their experiences were really tragic. Just him, Feng Poliu, he had never seen what his parents looked like in his life. "Ride." Feng Poliu pulled the reins. Lin Fan smiled. The cultivation techniques that he and cousin cultivated were used to kill people. They didn't learn healing techniques. But that might not be the case for Feng Poliu. As an Insect Valley expert, how could he not have learned it? The little girl grabbed Feng Poliu's arm and looked behind. That was her village. Her mother and grandmother were left there, and there were many friends. After a long while, a small army appeared in front of them. There were a few hundred of them. Their footsteps were messy. They carried spears and many things in their hands. There were chickens, ducks, and some pigs tied to spears. 2 people placed them on their shoulders and happily walked. When the little girl saw these people, she grabbed her burned arm. Even if it was painful, she bore with it. Tears rolled in her eyes and fresh blood flowed down her arm. Feng Poliu felt the small body tremble and understood what was going on. These were King Wudong's troops. Lin Fan rode his horse past the army. When the soldiers saw these people, they were all stunned. It was obvious that they didn't expect that someone would dare to pass them so calmly. Lin Fan squinted his eyes. When he passed by the leading army, he suddenly stopped, turned around and asked with a smile, "Let me ask you guys something. Did you guys destroy the villages at the back?" The leader of this army was an earl, an official who could lead 100 people. He held a roasted chicken in his hand and his mouth was covered in grease. He walked towards Lin Fan viciously. "We are the army under King Wudong. Who are you? We wiped out the village, so what?" "Nothing, I like people who speak the truth." "Then, can you die for me?" Shwa. A streak of light flashed across. Lin Fan pulled out his blade and then sheathed it. He was really quick. This blade couldn't be caught by the naked eye. Poochie. A head slowly separated. Blood shot into the sky and dyed the ground red. Their eyes opened wide. All the soldiers were stunned. To them, it was like they had seen a ghost. Earl was killed. They didn't dare to believe that the Earl who was perfectly fine actually died just like that. Rage points plus 66 rage points plus 77 rage points plus 66. When the little girl saw those scenes, her eyes opened wide like she didn't expect it. Uproar. The soldiers all reacted. Earl was killed. He killed Earl. Capture him, don't let him run. Damn, you actually dare to attack us. We are King Wudong's soldiers. Do you want to die? Lin Fan didn't care about the soldiers' shouts at all. From his point of view, these were like mosquitoes buzzing in his ears. So annoying, really annoying. Cousin, take them down and tie them to the trees. Don't kill them. Lin Fan said. Yes, cousin. Zhou Zhongmao replied. He got off the horse and looked at the struggling ant. He gave out a cold smile. I have to show mercy to deal with all of you. How problematic. Pung. The moment he said that, Zhou Zhongmao charged into the crowd. To normal commoners, this army of 100 couldn't be blocked. But to true experts it was far from enough. To them, Zhou Zhongmao was like a berserk beast. They couldn't block him at all, they didn't even have a chance to fight back. They cried out. They screamed. Even if Zhou Zhongmao showed mercy, it was really problematic to control his strength. Occasionally, 1 or 2 soldiers would explode. The scene immediately shocked the soldiers. Too terrifying. It was just too terrifying. Not long later, the cries stopped. The soldiers were all tied to the trees. There were a lot of trees here, and each person was tied to a tree. It was quite a shocking sight to see. Lin Fan stood there and said, "Look at my face, don't die without knowing who did it." Rage points plus 66 rage points plus 66. Although the number of rage points was small, luckily there were enough of them. Let us go. We are King Wudong's soldiers, let us go. They hollered. Even if their faces were swollen, at that moment, they felt the scent of death covering them. Chapter 219. Feng Poliu didn't know what Lin Fan was doing? Why did he tie the soldiers to the tree? He really didn't understand. But very quickly, when he saw Lin Fan's next actions, he instantly understood. Your existence doesn't mean much to me. Furthermore, I'm not someone who likes to meddle in other people's business. All I can say is that you guys are really unlucky to have bumped into me. Then, there's nothing I can do about it. Lin Fan said calmly. Then, the lightning that was condensed from his inner strength appeared in his hands. He turned his head and tossed the lightning in his hand. The lightning landed on the ground and with a ping, a bright light exploded out. Not long later, a huge flame exploded out. Lin Fan got on the horse and noticed Feng Polia's stunned expression. What are you looking at? Feng Polia stared at Lin Fan. You are too vicious. When did I say that I wasn't vicious? Lin Fan asked. Screams spread out from the back. They were burned by fire. Rage points plus 111. Rage points plus 111. At that moment, the rage points totally exploded. To Lin Fan, the main thing wasn't rage points, but that if he didn't do it, then no one would. Why not be more vicious and do it right away? Then, everything would return to normal. How great! Feng Polia was impressed by Lin Fan. He was truly convinced. There was nothing he could do if he wasn't convinced. He really didn't expect this kid to burn them all with a single fire. Rage points plus 111. Rage points plus 111. He welcomed the last wave of rage points. The burning black smoke floated into the air. The little brat stared at the red flames and then at Lin Fan. Suddenly, a voice spread out from the distance. You are so young, but why is your killing intent so heavy? You are so vicious, it is rare for me to see such a thing. The voice reverberated. At the same time, a strong wind extinguished the flames. But it was all too late. Not many of those soldiers could survive. An expert, Feng Polia said. Lin Fan calmly turned his head. Who liked to be a busybody to even care about a fire? In the distance, an old priest walked over with a horsetail whisk. He pinched his black beard and looked at Lin Fan solemnly. From afar, he noticed that there was smoke rising from this place. He thought that something had happened, but when he arrived here, he couldn't believe his eyes. There were actually so many soldiers tied to the trees, and then that brat set them on fire. He actually wanted to burn these soldiers alive. He couldn't bear it. He would not allow such a thing to happen in front of him and be so indifferent. Old Taoist, can you not be a busybody? Lin Fan looked at the old Taoist in the distance and said, There are too many injustices in the world. Too many. But as long as I see it, I have to care. Little friend, you burn them alive. Your methods are truly cruel. I wonder what they did to make you so angry. One step from the old Taoist was equivalent to dozens of steps for others. Lin Fan frowned. These soldiers passed by her village and killed and pillaged. She was the only one who survived, so I burned them. Do you think I went too far? The old Taoist said, When will there be an end to revenge? Even if they did something wrong, why do you have to use such intense methods to harm them? After all, they are all lives. Feng Polia didn't say anything. He looked at the old Taoist and then he recalled, You are a disciple of Qingshan Temple. It wasn't that he knew who the person in front of him was. Instead, it was the color of the other party's clothes that made him recall which sect or faction liked to wear cyan clothes. In the end, he thought about Qingshan Temple. That's right, I am Qingshan Temple's 78th generation grade 2 disciple, Yun Yuzi. Yun Yuzi said. Feng Polia frowned and then said softly, Young Master Lin, this fellow isn't simple. He is actually a grade 2 disciple. Based on what I know, Qingshan Temple disciples are split into 9 grades. Grade 1 is the highest, grade 2 isn't bad either. He is obviously a grandmaster. Lin Fan looked at him and laughed coldly. I heard a phrase in the past, when you don't know what is going on, you advise people to be magnanimous. If you can avoid it, then avoid it. If you can't, then kill them. It is obvious that you are the person who advised me to be magnanimous. Pung! Lin Fan got off the horse and stepped on the ground. His internal strength was boiling. It was obvious that he was ready to attack. Young Master Lin, don't be rash. You haven't seen his strength. If he is peak grandmaster, you aren't his match. Feng Polia said. Lin Fan looked at the small support system. Rage points, 55006. Add points. Physique 380 to 390 increased, instantly reaching peak master realm, also known as Mac. He continued to raise his internal strength. Internal strength, 390. Internal and external cultivation had reached peak master realm. Raise barbaric saint battle technique. Consume 16,500 rage point. Barbaric saint battle technique. Returning to true. Consume 16500 rage point. 9 heavens lightning drawing technique. Returning to true. Poochie. Poochie. Just at that moment, a sound exploded out from Lin Fan's body. It was the sound of bones shaking like something was expanding. Young Master Lin, you. When Feng Polia looked at Lin Fan, he was shocked. He saw something that he couldn't believe. Lin Fan lowered his head and opened his mouth, revealing his teeth. Liquid flowed down his gums and many green veins appeared on his face. A really strong aura was accumulating in Lin Fan's body. Feng Polia didn't dare to believe what he was seeing. Why did young Master Lin, who was originally fine, suddenly change? The muscles that were exposed to the outside tightened, and every muscle was covered with tiny and dense veins, as if there were many worms entangled on them. Kong! A low roar came from Lin Fan's throat. At that moment, a storm exploded out from his legs. His improvement was just too quick. The power of his physique totally suppressed his internal strength. How can a master realm have such strength? Feng Polia didn't dare to believe it. Even if he had been through many things, he had never seen such a weird scene. Yun Yuzi's expression was solemn. Little friend, your killing intent is too strong. This isn't a good thing for you. There are some things that you can't do even if you want to. For your future, let me destroy your cultivation today. Pung! Lin Fan stepped forwards and the ground instantly cracked. Numerous pieces of stone flew into the air, and a low voice exploded out. He disappeared from the spot, and when he appeared, he was in front of Yun Yuzi. You really talk too much nonsense. Pung! He punched out, and the air seemed to distort as his righteous force exploded. Yun Yuzi was really solemn and slapped the horsetail whisk in his hand. In an instant, he felt a very heavy force coming at him. Good fellow, dual cultivation? Yun Yuzi didn't dare to be careless. He deflected the force and then smashed the horsetail whisk towards Lin Fan's chest. When the horsetail whisk struck Lin Fan's body, it was like striking a steel board, giving out a low sound. Lin Fan took several steps back and then patted his chest. It was just a little painful. You old priest, you think you are strong and like to be a busybody. I didn't want to do anything to you, but since you want to trash my cultivation, then let's see who trashes who. He had already suppressed this berserk power. Peak Grandmaster Expert. From that short attack, Feng Polia could see his cultivation. Although he wasn't the strongest in the peak, he wasn't weak either. Young Master Lin, let me do it. Facing such an expert, it was time for him to attack. With Lin Fan's Master Realm cultivation, he probably wasn't his match. No need, let me do it. Lin Fan reached out and stopped Feng Polia. Although it would be a tough battle, he had already made his mind up. He was going to personally kill this fellow. Feng Polia wanted to say something, but looking at Lin Fan, he knew that he didn't need to say anything. It was useless even if he said anything. Lin Fan opened his arms and thick internal strength boiled. Pili Pala. Although the Nine Heavens lightning drawing technique was just a Master Realm technique, it had many uses. Using the strength of the body and internal strength to form the lightning that descended from the sky. Beside Lin Fan, many thin bolts of lightning landed. Normal people couldn't get close at all. This, Feng Polia naturally didn't believe that Lin Fan was drawing lightning from heaven and earth. After all, that was impossible. Not to mention a master, even a grandmaster couldn't do that. He noticed that Lin Fan's body was shaking at a weak frequency. This was using the shaking of the body and internal strength to form lightning. How much internal strength did he need to support that? To him, when other people cultivated this technique, they definitely wouldn't use it like that. As for him, who knew how long he would be able to last? Barbarian patterns. Vital energy like a dragon. Hong Long. In a blink of an eye, a thick vital energy rose up from Lin Fan's body. His vital energy exploded out. At the same time, black patterns appeared on his body, filled with a wild feeling from the desolate era. Old monk, you are going to die. Lin Fan hollered and charged towards Yun Yuzi. Yun Yuzi sensed that explosive aura. Especially when he saw the lightning that landed around the kid, he was shocked. This was different from the people he had faced before. Even if he was a peak grandmaster, he didn't dare say that he could cause such a shocking aura. Dao Star. Star's scattering hand. Yun Yuzi didn't dare to be careless, he became really serious. The horsetail whisk in his hand instantly expanded. Many white threads covered the sky like it was about to cover Lin Fan. Lin Fan pulled out his blade, the strongest blade of the lightning blade. 4 strokes, slashed forwards. Poochie! The horsetail whisk exploded. The lightning that merged with internal strength landed and smashed onto Yun Yuzi's body. Pung! Dao Star shook like a stone being tossed into water, causing many ripples. Demon Ape Fist. A demon ape appeared behind Lin Fan's back and punched towards Yun Yuzi. His stamina and internal strength didn't decrease at all. He could use all heart cultivation techniques, and external techniques to the extreme. He didn't need to think so much at all. He didn't even need to worry about internal strength drying up. P.S. Thank you, Alliance Leader MOU, thank you. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.